They scored. Porzingis. Point a shot. Rebound. Score.
WBZFM and HD Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub. Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
A very nice win for the Bruins last night at TD Garden. They raced away to a 4-0 lead and beat Tampa Bay 6-2. David Pastrnak had a goal and 2 assists to lead the offense, and Joe Sacco watched Jeremy Swayman add a season-high 43 saves in net.
It's a lesson for us, too, like that when we get into these type of situations, teams are going to push hard, and it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we're getting our game back to where it needs to be. Obviously, they're going to push. They're going to get some chances, and Sway came up large again here for us tonight at certain points of the game. But
the Bruins now have back-to-back wins coming out of a 6-game losing streak. They don't play again until Saturday in Ottawa. The team also yesterday placed both Charlie McAvoy and Mark Kastelik on injured reserve. The Celtics, meanwhile, will be in Canada tonight to play Toronto. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Celtics roster is completely healthy for this one, and the Boston Globe is reporting that the team will begin receiving bids from prospective buyers for the franchise a week from tomorrow. The Patriots began their search for assistant coaches under new head man Mike Vrabel yesterday, and one would-be candidate for offensive coordinator is now off the table. Cleveland assistant Tommy Rees was promoted to offensive coordinator by that franchise yesterday. Former Dallas head coach Mike McCarthy will meet with the Chicago Bears today and the New Orleans Saints next week. And Novak Djokovic and American Coco Gauff are among your second-round winners at the Australian Open tennis tournament. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Rodenheiser Home Services, your next-day heating system installation experts with the knowledge and support to get the job done quickly and reliably. Call or visit them online at Rodenheiser.com to schedule today. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Or who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher.
Fred Toucher on Instagram. Follow and see dog humping videos.
And Hardy.
I'm going to withhold sex.
On 98.5.
Hello.
hey there.
Yo.
Can we use this for the radio?
What? Let me hear you say, oh. Na 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 na.
Crush me, mommy.
Just not enough booty to go around.
Say my name.
I'm a robot.
I'm the son of the post. I'll chase you around a little bit.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Instagram.
I want to dip it in. What?
Toucher and Hardy.
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back some fat and having some fun.
On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
Cubba-dubba-doo. Yeah. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy, Town Fair Tire Studios. You can watch us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, obviously, and search 98.5 The Sports Hub and subscribe. We are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 617-779-0985. A gigantic show on the way today. What an exciting show on the way today. As we head in on a hump day, everybody. A hump day here in the studio. Hump day. It's a cold one out there. Whatever happened to Tyler Milliken's cousin? Whatever happened to him? Has anyone talked to Tyler Milliken's cousin?
I've texted with him a little bit.
How's he doing?
Good.
Watch him slam dunk for an A1. JT is number one.
Yes.
That was during the salad days, man.
Yeah, that's when he was really making it
I don't
happen.
know what some of these are.
People always told him, be careful what you do. Don't go around breaking Reggie's heart.
Thank you. That would have bothered me if you hadn't played that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Didn't he have a follow-up? And then it wasn't,
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to say, a recording artist, you take some time off. Sometimes you lose that creative flow.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he did. He had follow-up, and then he sent us something unsolicited months and months after he had no longer.
Yeah, that was what I was talking about.
And
yeah.
that was, that was not suitable for air. And it wasn't because it ran afoul of FCC regulations. It was just terrible. It was awful. Yeah. But I took him under my wing, much like Fred did with Isaac. And, we worked some things out in terms of, what he needed to do differently. And hopefully, the next thing he sends us will be airable, because the thing he did before was not.
It was a song?
Yes. I think we played like 10 seconds.
You did play 10. This is what I'm remembering. You did play 10 seconds of it, and you're like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think we're done here.
It just wasn't even worth getting into.
No.
Okay. Well, that's it. Well, listen.
I mean, I can tell you what, it's a little bit more than what some other interns have sent us post-internship.
Hey there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why Isaac hasn't reached out. It's a little
Say my name.
disconcerting that he hasn't
want to
reached
follow
out.
up. You are a valuable contact to have. It's a chance meeting outside of Wegmans, and this is an opportunity to further his career and maintain, broadcast standard that he always talks about?
Industry standard.
Industry standard.
Hi, I'm Isaac.
Yeah.
Hi, Isaac.
You want to further your career, you don't lose a contact like Fred Toucher here.
Right.
Yeah, well, you got that right.
Can I share something with you that I'm going to keep addressing it until it gets fixed? I'm walking into work this morning after I park, and thank God I live my life head on a swivel. I'm always ready. It's why I don't wear flip-flops. It's why I've got one of the best flashlights available commercially, to citizens. I'm ready. I'm ready for things. And my ears and my hearing, which is not great, better than some, picked up on a sound of an approaching vehicle at high speed. So before I crossed in front of the entryway to the parking garage, I stopped. And good thing I did, because guess who came barreling through that thing? John Wallach. Again. And I say to him, I kind of shake my head as he flies by and then sails up to the second story of you park on level 2, right?
I do.
Yeah, not on level 3, not on level 1, because again, he's a bird of habit.
Yeah, it's annoying that he doesn't do what we're supposed to do, nor break the rules completely. He parks on level 2.
Right. But I kind of shake my head at him. I get up to the elevator, and I'm walking down the hall first, and he's a few seconds behind me. Not much, even though I had quite a head start on him, because he zipped up to his parking spot at a really unsafe rate of speed. And we're walking down the hall. I'm like, Wallach, you almost freaking killed me again coming into the parking garage. He's like, oh, yeah, because we're 20 miles an hour. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad you admitted to that. Twice as safe speed for entering a parking garage. He thinks it's okay to fly into a parking garage
at 20 miles an hour.
20 miles an hour, which it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you so buttoned up and everything else in your life, and you got, I'm put together, I'm mild-mannered John Wallach, and then you drive like a complete maniac a-hole?
We all have our secrets.
But seriously, it is true. This is not a bit. I mean, I'm sure that actually happened. And Louth has called you out by how aggressive a driver you are.
Not to my face.
Nick has called you out for what an aggressive driver you are. Like, people that happen to run into you on the way to work, you're like flying around, you're like riding people's asses.
Yep.
Like, you are you even aware that you're that aggressive in a driver?
It's interesting now. On the way over in the car, and I was telling Hardy this, and he conveniently left this out, that I did not venture to the left 2 lanes on the highway.
So he says.
At all. Well, I mean, no matter what I say, you're not going to believe me. So maybe I'm just wasting my breath. But I did not exceed 66 miles an hour on the way over in the car.
Has anyone called you out about the freeway? I don't think anyone's ever called you out about the freeway. That would be disingenuous, because how the hell would they know it was you? I think it's always...
the only time on the freeway I knew it was him is when I was in the right lane a half a mile before the exit, and here comes this Acura tail grabbing my ass straight up my friggin' dual exhaust pipes. I'm like, what's your hurry, Buster? We're both getting off on this exit, and I'm still going, 10 miles over the speed limit here. It was Wallach.
Oh, okay, so it has happened on the freeway. Because you have been called out, at least by 3 people, and maybe more, that you are are you already not even aware you're doing it?
Not to this extent. Not to have 3 people come up and tell me that, boy, you suck at driving.
No, that's not what they said. That's
what's inferred.
I don't think it's inferred. I think it's not that you suck at driving. It's that you're an incredibly aggressive driver.
Aggressive and unsafe.
But in all seriousness, that you're super aggressive, like that which doesn't, like Hardy was saying, it doesn't seem to fit your personality. Like when you're in the car. Now, I've driven with you.
Mm-hmm.
I've driven with you relatively long distances.
Yeah, we drove down to one of the casinos together.
Yeah, and so
right.
I don't recall you doing anything. I didn't recall you doing anything at all. But I mean, people say that you are very aggressive. Are you concerned about getting into work? Like that you're going to be late?
No. I don't live very far from here, so no, I'm not concerned I'm going to be late.
How long does it take you to get here?
15 minutes.
Yeah, it takes me now. If I take the freeway, it takes me 11 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes. I live in scenic Natick, Massachusetts.
Is there traffic on the Pike?
No.
Yeah.
No, not at that hour.
Yeah.
Not at this hour, I should say. We're not that far removed from there. Not at this hour.
Still going on.
That was an hour ago when we were both here, more than an hour ago now, and there's no need for it, John. There's no need to come flying into the parking garage.
Thanks,
You know people are walking back and forth across that area.
It's interesting, though. Like when you kill someone and you're up for vehicular homicide.
I'd like that you use the word when. Please continue.
Yeah, when he kills someone and it's a vehicular homicide, you got to figure that they're going to pull a lot of this tape and they're going to go,
Yeah. Could have seen this coming.
Mm-hmm.
Or guilty as charged.
Has your wife ever said anything to you?
Constantly.
Oh, about your driving?
She has in the past, yes.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, now, you obviously don't care, and that makes you a lot like my wife, who I pretty much will not ride with.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
Or you'll drive instead of her.
Yes, of course. That's what I'm saying. It's like when we go somewhere, I drive, not because I'm a control freak. It'd be nice not to drive every once in a while. I can't take it. It's unsafe. And she drives a lot like you do.
How fast does she go?
Real fast.
Like 80, 85?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And also, like, right up on people's tails and stuff. I'm like...
Why does she do that?
I don't know.
I don't
know.
And so effing annoying.
And you know her. It doesn't suit her personality.
Yeah.
All.
No, she's and I mean this. She's incredibly like engaging. She's she's a very. I'm not just saying this.
Midwestern sweet.
No, I don't think she's mild mannered. I think that she's charismatic, as I should say, and she seems nice, and so. Because that bothers me. It's one of these things. Like if you're riding my ass like a lot and like being aggressive, I do have the presence of mind to go, oh, like okay, I'm doing something wrong. Like if I'm doing something wrong, but if I'm not, I look at it as a hostile act, and that you are trying to like you're willing to hurt me.
Yeah.
Like you're willing to hurt me, and so what I'll do is like if someone starts honking at me while you guys go to John goes to Newton Center. You know, if you take a left on Beacon Street, like from Center Street.
Yeah.
Okay, you all know that.
Yes.
And a pedestrian will literally be crossing the road. They'll be in the middle of the road, and I've had on numerous occasions people lay on the horn for me to go.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to kill the pedestrian. And then so when they do that, I'll take my foot off the accelerator once the guy passes and crawl left. And then if they get on my ass again, I'll just start jamming the brake over and over again to make the lights go. And then I'll pull onto, which is pretty dangerous. I'll pull onto Beacon Street and stop.
Oh, wow,
so if they keep going, I don't like that, and because like let's see how far you want to take this, dickhead. Like you want to start beeping and riding my ass. Let's see how far we can. I can do it too. I can do it from the front, and usually, you know what that does? It makes them fall about a half mile back. That's usually what the result is. That's an act of aggression. I don't care for that.
See, I wonder.
You're in such a rush, and you have so many places to be. But I sometimes think maybe the person's like having like a panic attack or something, and then I feel kind of sorry for him. But like if it's like you have so many places to go, guy behind me. Like where are you going? Unless your wife's having a kid, or like you're rushing someone to the hospital.
See,
what do you do? What are you doing that's so important?
That matches your personality, though. You're not outwardly aggressive. You lean more toward passive aggression when it comes to, things like that, at least reacting to somebody. You're not afraid to go on the offensive from time to time. But when it comes to reacting to what someone else did, you will oftentimes, it's not taking the high road as much as it is. I'm just going to very subtly and almost cunningly get back at you. Okay?
Sure.
All right. For Wallach and my wife, I believe their driving demonstrates a complete opposite of what their personalities are like. So there's someone else that we all know who the audience doesn't know, so it doesn't matter. I'll tell you guys. Adam Moscatel.
Okay.
Is an absolute time bomb, right? The guy's a lunatic. There's nothing about Adam that says normal, stable. You want to get behind the wheel with this guy.
It's been a while since I've seen Adam. But
Right. I've driven with Adam.
Yes.
He is the most patient and polite driver you could think of. Like, speed limit, lets people in, out, gets cut off, and his whole attitude is like, it's no big deal. I'm in no hurry. And that he's not putting on an act. That's just the way he is. So for him and you and Marcy, I would say, there is this inverse relationship with your personality and your driving habit. Maybe you get it out while you're driving. All the stuff that you're bottling up inside.
Can I ask you a question? This is all seriousness. John got caught in a snowstorm, and it was very traumatic to him when he was driving. Were you like that before the snowstorm?
I don't even remember. I don't think so,
We'll
but I'm not sure.
We'll have to dive into it off air.
Okay, good. Put me on the couch. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, give me a half hour. I'll get to the bottom of it.
I can't wait.
Carrie, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How are you guys this morning?
Good morning, my friend.
Well, hey, so I just figured I'd weigh in on this because, let me ask you. So, are you a speed limit driver? Because my kind of take on this is, if you're not going at least the speed limit, you deserve to be tailgated. Because most people, the roads are used to get from point A to point B, and most people have to get places, and then there's some people that don't care when they get there, but
It goes without saying, Carrie, that if you're not going the speed limit or going probably the speed limit, you deserve to be tailgated. I think all of us would agree on that. This is assuming that you're a rational person that doesn't go the speed limit.
And I will say this too, in my defense and in Fred's defense, and this is going to bother people because we're mentioning it again, but having grown up in Detroit, you think people drive fast around here. It's unbelievable the speed that you have to drive when you're growing up in Detroit. The lights up and down Woodward and Telegraph are all timed for driving over the speed limit. If you drive the speed limit down Woodward Avenue, at least when you and I were learning to drive.
No, it's still like that.
Yeah, you would get stopped at every red light every mile. You have to go 5 miles an hour over the speed limit in order to time the lights.
What is the speed limit on that road?
It's 50.
50. It's like Route 9.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Route 1.
Okay.
Okay, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
like
it's lights, but everything there is faster, as I've mentioned a million times. Like everything is faster, and you get everywhere faster.
And I'm driving over the speed limit. The day that Wallach was tailgate me on the exit, I was probably doing 72 in the right lane, and you come flying up behind me, flashing the brights, nudging the bumper, rubbing his racing. I'm
No. That's not true at all.
Throwing bottles out the window.
Let's not exaggerate all of this.
Pulling a gun on you.
My God.
He had some spike that came out of his left front tire, and he rubbed it up against the side of my passenger side and tore a hole in the side of it.
Oh, it was a scene out of Grease all of a sudden. It was good.
I don't know if that's where you got it.
The chicks were creaming.
Yeah.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
And I just wrapped my truck in saran wrap, too, for some unknown reason. Apparently, it is a condom reference, but we don't know.
Yeah, I have a friend who went after. You remember the Club? Obviously, you do. There was a security device that was very popular called the Club, where you locked it on your steering wheel, and it was supposed to make your car like unstealable.
Mm-hmm.
And this kid, Matt, who ended up being the drug addict kid that in and out of jail that I've talked about, that was in Kids in Crisis. He got into road rage thing, took the club out of the car, and like held it out the window or something to that nature, something with the club. Well, he gets home, and on the way home, like in a subdivision, he gets pulled over, and there's like 5 cop cars,
Right.
and they pull weapons on him,
Right.
and they're holding guns on him, like, disconcerting to say the least for the neighborhood and for him. It was reported that he had pulled a gun out on a guy, so they had him down and they had him like hands up and then get down on your stomach, and it's the road rage is a very real thing.
That's what happened to that kid at the beginning of Copland. He takes his club and he points it out the window at who's the lunatic who the actor, the red-haired guy who's doing all the sports stuff. He used to
Donnie Most.
Guy used to be on with Howard, and he's
Michael Rappaport.
Michael Rappaport ends up shooting the guy because he thinks he's got a gun pointed at him out the window, but it was the club.
Never saw that movie.
Never saw Copland?
I've never seen it either.
Never saw
Great
Copland.
movie. Capital G.
Is that Stallone and De Niro?
Yeah, it was Stallone's got him back into it being a serious actor. Cortez, go ahead.
It's very good.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen. I'm a counselor with a psychology degree, and I wanted to offer some psychological analysis on young Jonathan.
Love it.
Sure.
So, it sounds like based off of his typical behavior, he is someone that, obviously not in control often. So, with this show, he's the third seat. At home, it sounds like, his wife's probably in control. So this is where he has full control of the vehicle and is kind of letting it out. It's almost like the victim of a targeting or a bullying situation. At some point, they're going to find their space to control and assert their, in this particular case, aggression or will.
Oh, so I'm going to kill somebody someday? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not your intention. That's not your intention. But this is your space where you assert yourself because you feel dominated and controlled about in most other situations in parts of your life.
He's been listening to a lot of Marilyn Manson. Should we be concerned?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
How much do I owe you for this?
All right. Cortez, if you could call back later when I talk about turning 50 tomorrow, I would like to be analyzed.
Yeah, you want.
Got you on speed dial, Freddie.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
I need
Cortez.
to be analyzed about that. My fear of being alone.
I feel so much better.
And why don't you take 24 hours to process what Cortez just said, and then tomorrow maybe you'll have some coping mechanisms for you.
Thank God I took notes so I can look at this later.
Yeah, we can do some CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub.
Did you catch the game last night?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lepresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. What's going on, Hardy?
The Bruins managed to beat Florida last weekend after that was the second of back-to-backs against the Panthers. Well, not back-to-backs, but they had the
game against Tampa, game against Florida, 2-game road trip, mom's trip, second game of the mom's trip.
Second game of the mom's trip.
Yes.
Okay, so.
Nice win last weekend.
But all kinds of issues as John Wallach was digging deep last night and finding out everything and putting it into encapsulated form for us. We got Charlie Coyle, who was hurt against the Panthers. Mark Kastelik, who got hurt in the Tampa game.
Yeah, he got cross-checked in the face during the last minute.
They're both on IR.
No, Coyle played last night. Coyle was ill, missed morning skate.
No, I said McAvoy. McAvoy and Kastelik.
McAvoy and Kastelik,
Okay.
yes.
Hampus Lindholm, long-term IR.
Correct.
He was hurt back before Thanksgiving.
Yes. Skating now, but still injured. Yes.
Right. Coyle under the weather, but there's still a lot to deal with his team right now. So you're playing Tampa, who you're only there's a point separating the two going into last night's game. This is and with the Bruins having played 5 more games than Tampa.
Correct.
So this is a big spot for them last night. How would the Bruins respond?
Angles it off the boards back to Hedman, who fanned on it, turned it over, and now Potter on a 2-on-1 with Frederick. Potter down the right wing side, goes to the net in front, Frederick scores! Trent Frederick finishes off the 2-on-1 from Potter. It's 1-0 Bruins.
Okay, nice. Wasn't expecting that. Number 1, Bruins to score. Number 2, Bruins to score first. Interesting. Would they be able to keep it going?
Will play it for Zaka. Steps across the line, hands off to Pasternak on that right side. Send it back across Wotherspoon. Scores! Parker Wotherspoon rips it just under the crossbar. It's 2-0 Bruins.
2-0 in the first period? 2-0 midway through the first? What the hell's going on? The only thing that would be crazy is if, I don't know, one of the goal scorers actually scored.
Bruins dodge a bullet there, and now head back the other way with Marchand and Pasternak. Marchand, left circle, score! Ripped it, top shelf, glove side, 3-0 Bruins.
Just a minute into the second period, Brad Marchand would put them up 3-0. That would be the eventual game winner. David Pasternak also scoring about 5 minutes later in that second period. 2 back for the Lightning last night, but there were empty netters at the end of the game for the Bruins from both Peak and Pavel Zacha to make it a 6-2 win over Tampa here at the TD Garden. So a decent win for the Bruins last night.
Incredibly satisfying win. There are 82 of these. There are not a lot of regular season games that stand out, but considering what happened at the end of the last meeting between those two teams, and there's genuine hatred there.
Yes.
And the Bruins, they're scrapping and struggling just to try and kind of hang in there and stay out of the wild card in the Eastern Conference. There was some juice to this one, especially because they didn't have Lindholm or McAvoy. How are they going to be defensively? Jeremy Swayman was great last night. Fantastic last night.
So he was. I thought he was fine, and then I was kind of surprised at the end of the game. I think he had something on the order of 42 saves.
43 saves, season high.
Okay, but a lot of them were like position saves. He didn't have to do a lot. He wasn't. They weren't circus saves.
I mean, he was, and I'm stealing this from Brickley, who said it on the TV broadcast last night. He saw the puck incredibly well. There were a lot of pucks that were tipped in front that he was able to stop. There weren't a lot of breakaways where he had to stretch out, but he would go from one post to the other and make great saves. Tampa's got a bunch of really good goal scorers, and they had 45 shots last night. They outshot you by 2-1. And you won going away. And Swayman, especially without Lindholm or McAvoy there as the number one defenseman, you were on your heels for large portions of time. watching what happened last night. And by the way, David Pastrnak has never had more than 47 assists in any season. He's on pace for well over 50. I mean, he's now more of a facilitator than he ever has been. And he needs to because the offense is not very deep on this team. So I thought, and the guy who cross-checked Kastelik in the face was challenged to a fight by Trent Frederick, and the two of them went at it. And Frederick won the fight.
Oh, yeah, that was a great fight.
So, really, I mean, everything really happened the way that Bruins fans wanted it to happen last night. You blew out the team that you don't like. You got revenge for Kastelik, and Swayman played well. I mean, there was nothing more that I could have asked for.
They put Hampus Lindholm on long-term IR.
Yeah.
And they put McAvoy on IR.
Yes.
If I can express my ignorance, I know long-term IR is bad. IR in hockey,
that was more procedural than anything else.
Okay, but like I know he's skating, like he's skated on his own, I believe. Hampus Lindholm. If McAvoy's on IR, what does that mean?
I think it means he's going to miss a minimum of 5 games.
Oh wow!
But at the same time, I think that this was supposed to happen anyway. Sacco said before the game stuff has been nagging at him, and they're going to sit him down for a few games to see if it heals. It's not something that immediately happened. He's just been dealing with stuff.
Okay. Yeah, because when your two best defensemen and probably your second and third best players on your team are down, that's an issue. Can I ask you this? Have Marchand and Pastrnak, they've played together on the power play. In the game in Florida that they played, they were on the ice during that goal together, the goal in overtime. I'm just asking.
I know it's them not being on the same line is the issue, but splitting those guys up never seemed like a bad idea to me, unless they were just all world and they were amassing between the two of them 6 points a game. Then fine, keep them together. Don't bust up a great line, but they haven't been great, so I don't have a problem with them being split up and. Well, we all know the story.
Injured reserve, by the way.
But they all play golf together. They all live in Newton. They're always hanging out. I don't know.
They seem to get along just fine last night.
Yeah, I know. Like
Charlie McAvoy, it's 7 days for
Pastrnak belongs to Woodland. I mean, those guys are always playing together and stuff.
IR is 7 days. Although they may participate in non-competitive events. Long-term IR is 24 days and 10 games. So, again, Lindholm's blown through
But he's already, so he's already done that.
It's procedural to get him out of the way, but it's 7 days for McAvoy.
Yeah, and he's been skating. Hampus Lindholm has, so it's
Patra. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
it's just something that continues to either nag or he just can't get to the point where he can play.
Oh, I think that he's skating on his own, and they've made it clear that this is a step, but it's not a huge step. He's a ways away from I think practicing with the team. By the way, Patra yesterday, right away, his speed. Little guy, but his speed right away on that first goal.
That 2-on-1 with Frederick. Yeah,
he right away. That was good to see.
The one thing that I did notice after the fact, and like you, John, it was either Brick or Jaffe who pointed it out to me, and Jaffe's going to be on with us here in less than an hour.
Shooting out hot takes.
The saves that Swayman was making last night, they were clean saves. He was gobbling up the puck. Or he wasn't allowing rebounds in front of the net. He played very clean, and it's impressive when you go back and look at it in its totality. It wasn't blowing me away while I was watching it, but when you look back and say, "Oh, he had to face 45 shots last night," and there weren't a ton of opportunities for Tampa in front of the net by virtue of how Swayman was playing the puck. Yeah, that's a good game.
Well, everyone in Detroit is all revved up now because they think that the Red Wings because the Red Wings have been very hot. They think that the Red Wings can challenge for the wild card. These games against the Atlantic are very, very important. Not only to get whatever Florida and Toronto, but to get points against Tampa and Ottawa and Montreal and the Red Wings. It's very important to get 2 points in those games. Anytime you get 2 points, it's not too early in the season to be pretty concerned about getting both Like, not just getting out of there with a point, but getting 2 points in those games. Because you need them now. You're going to need them. Because that thing's a logjam, and everyone's got games in hand. As we've discussed, it's starting to level out a little bit. But right now, everyone still has games in hand.
Yeah, Tampa's
a lot of
still
them.
tied with the Bruins now at 49 points, and Tampa has 4 games in hand after last night.
Right, and
but
so
it's a small step forward for the Bruins, which I will take. And boy, I
well,
wish
beating Florida and Tampa, is a big deal.
Those are very good. Those are very good wins. Now you got to keep going. And by the way, I wish Trent Frederick played like that more often. The way we saw him last night. A fight, speed, a goal.
An assist shy of the Gordie Howe hat trick.
Hey, that's right.
Yeah.
I wish Frederick played like that a lot more.
I mean, Frederick, he's fun. When he fights, that's fun. I mean, he really he took care of business last night.
And he got that helmet off first, or
Yeah.
at least 10 seconds into it this time.
I'm so excited. He didn't punch his hand into a bloody mess this time.
Yeah, he got that helmet off right away. He just was like, that's the first thing I'm doing. I'm removing that helmet off your head.
I hurt my knuckles last time.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't do that again.
All right. Well, listen, we will be back with so much more activity.
What we're going to be back with is something I would like some credit for, because I kept my trap shut all last week.
I saw that on the TV in a lobby last night. I know what you're talking about.
I will keep it shut no more.
Oh, I can't wait.
Buckle up.
Oh, I can't wait for a recap of this.
I know what it is.
It's going to be awesome.
It's a bad product.
Really
I would like to
Because
hear.
you watched it on a TV in a lobby, so you know all about the product.
It is true. You have to watch it on a TV.
Yes.
Maybe
in a club shop, in a pro shop. You have to watch it on TV in a pro shop where you can't.
Preferably with a game of gin rummy going on in the background.
Absolutely. Or a men's locker room where someone's taking a dump 5 feet away. All right. We will be back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
but I never had it yet.
Oh, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, and we're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. What's going on, Hardy?
Last night is week number 2 after I kept my mouth shut about week number 1 of the TGL. This is the Indoor Golf League. Last night, it was Team Jupiter versus Team LA at the SoFi Center, Palm Beach State College.
And Learning Annex.
It's like one of those trailers they put next to the permanent structures at public schools. And we really don't know. The bond didn't pass.
What's the seating capacity of this thing?
We need more space for students, but we're just going to have to make it temporary. The population indicates we won't need all this room in another 5 years.
Palm Beach State College, you say?
Yes. So week 2 of the TGL was Kevin Kisner, Max Homa, and Tiger Woods of Jupiter Links Golf Club. Mm-hmm. They went up against Justin Rose, Colin Morikawa, and Sahith Theegala.
Oh, so you had the home course advantage for this one.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, one speculated back when this whole thing was first started by Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy that this was a way for Tiger Woods to remain competitive against the best players in the world while he was hobbled by numerous injuries, car accidents, self-inflicted training regimen, whatever. You can't walk 18 holes for 4 or 5 rounds, including the practice round anymore. His body just gives out. It's the back, it's the knee, it's the ankle, everything else. So he's going to be able to compete against these guys in this golf simulation, which does feature an actual full-size green that undulates, and they can change the undulations on the green, and it spins, so they have different approaches to the green and bunkers built in. And long story short, Tiger not competitive last night. It was
so embarrassing.
It was rather embarrassing. Now, the first tee shot, that was pretty cool.
Listen to that thump. That's what you come from.
Thud.
Let's go, baby. Go for it.
So there's no decorum?
No.
We talked in the locker.
There's no decorum.
No,
you just yell and scream like an idiot.
There's music going on right up until about 15 seconds, and then the shot clock. There's a shot clock on these guys. 40 seconds they get to hit their shot, but starting at 10 seconds, you'll hear a heartbeat. Thump, 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 thump.
And then Huey Lewis comes out.
New York, is it? No. There was some levity, though, toward the end of it. And there's levity throughout the night.
Yeah,
These
it sounds
guys
like
are
just fellas, busting balls and breaking backs.
Oh, they're jawing. They're jawing back and forth, and they're giving each other what for. And there's some good-natured ribbing. Now, Team LA is up huge in this format that even I can't figure out. I've watched it twice now, and it's like alternate shot for 9 holes, and then I think it's 6 holes of like singles match play. They play 15 holes, which I don't know if I've ever played 15 holes of golf in my life.
It would be better if it was 15 instead of 18. John and both agree on this.
Yes.
Play 9.
Actually, more like 12 or 13 would be perfect.
13 is the perfect number of holes for golf. That I've decided. 9's not enough. 18's too many. 13's great. 15? Anyway, they got toward the end, and on the simulator, it shows that Kevin Kisner's ball goes in a bunker. So now he has to go hit a bunker shot. And I guess it's real sand in these bunkers next to the artificial green, but these guys don't hit typical bunker shots as well. This happened last night.
All right, for those looking for the start of Miami and Duke.
Oh, no.
It's currently
It's like the marathon. He crapped on his leg.
No, he skull effed that ball out of the bunker. It hit the.
Don't say that. That's disgusting.
It hit the flag stick and careened off, and people were almost injured by it.
Huh.
It was funny. They really couldn't maintain their composure. Tiger, however, had the biggest laugh when Kisner almost holed out the chip shot that would have saved at least a bogey on that hole. They're having fun. They're having fun, and I don't hate it.
I do.
It's just you hate watching it?
I do.
Did you watch it again last night?
I watched about 10 minutes of it last night, and just in time for that Kisner doink off the flag. But the whole thing is to spotlight the golfers and their personality, and none of them have any personality to speak of. This is a wildly boring product. You hit into a gigantic net. That's the thud that you heard on the first Tiger shot. And it's kind of cool for about 10 seconds. And then you realize, it's just like regular golf where every shot is incredibly straight and the ball rolls into the fairway. And I don't like it.
Not true. There was a penalty shot last night.
Oh, I missed that. I'm sorry. There was a penalty shot.
I think
someone exceeded the shot clock.
No, one of Tiger's shots actually ended up in the water. Someone was there. He was laughing about
the
it.
Fake water, yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are a handful of personalities on tour right now that would probably make this thing more enjoyable. Joel Damon comes to mind. I mean, he's a guy that everybody seems to love.
Good luck.
I mean, I apologize
Can't
for
get that guy
using a household name like that in front of you two jamokes, but I find myself watching. I thought I was. If you made me bet on it, I thought I was going to hate it. I don't hate it. It's not perfect, but I don't hate it.
Can I suggest something? Do you remember the night at the Apollo? If a guest was bombing, they would have a guy dressed as a clown with a broom.
Yeah.
Sweep him off.
Yeah.
Maybe you do that a couple times. Or if you get in the trap or the water, they just dump green slime on you. And maybe you have the lady Moose, her name was Moose. I'm not making that up. She was a girl under 18 named Moose on You Can't Do That on Television.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe have her on.
It could.
Or maybe make it like the 50s and all white. That'd probably get viewership up with the golf community.
You, who are the biggest golf fan I know, the best thing you can say about it is you don't hate it. What does that say about the product?
I don't hate it.
I know, but you don't like it either.
But I hate most things, so the fact that I don't hate this, I think speaks volumes about it.
So 1 is greater than 0 on a scale of 100. Good for you.
You guys be singing a different tune when Jupiter takes on Boston Common Golf.
Oh!
Coming up on Monday, January 27th.
Yeah, I got season tickets. Don't worry about it. But those are to sell.
We doing a live broadcast from that one?
Yeah, what are they holding that one?
Yeah, because they do start at 7 in the morning.
They're going to start
because that's when they'll get live ratings.
They're going to hold that at Bunker Hill Community College.
And since you can be rambunctious, we can be rambunctious. We don't have to be all quiet, broadcasting from golf.
Yeah, that takes away the whole everything I love about golf is the unnecessary stuffiness.
Let me tell you something. That Jupiter Boston match, it's going to be Tiger Woods' team again versus local hero Keegan Bradley,
listener of the station.
Yeah, Hideki Matsuyama, Rory McIlroy, and Adam Scott.
Oh, we have Rory McIlroy on our team.
So we got some personality. We got some personality in that matchup on the 27th.
Okay,
I'm looking forward to that one.
When Tom Kite joins, you get me involved.
Ever tell you my Tom Kite story?
You have. I like.
Do we have 15 minutes? Because I can tell it again.
All right, that's great. Adam has.
It was the Buick Open. It was at Warwick Hills, Grand Blanc, Michigan.
No need to. You say one, we know the other.
You don't have to say.
And Grand Blanc, Michigan is from where? Who is from Grand Blanc, Michigan? Dad Boner.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. That's right.
Dad Boner's in Grand Blanc.
That's right. All right, we'll be back. Adam is cultivated, or he's cultivated. You've cultivated this list for us.
Yes.
We're going to do a list. We're going to have a little fun. You know, Vrabel's hired. I think I've heard enough for a little bit. So we're gonna have.
I've had enough until week 1 of the regular season.
Yeah, so maybe we'll try to have a little tiny bit of fun on this show. All right.
Speculating about the power structure atop the Patriots organization. You don't want to do that from 7 until 9:30?
Well, now that Reese has been signed, been promoted by the
Off the
Cleveland,
table.
I mean,
Off the table.
I mean, now we're in it's a real fire drill over there. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
a shot, rebound, score!
WPCFM and HD Butler 98.5, the Sports Hub. Wesley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Bruins pulled themselves back into a tie with Tampa for third place in the division last night. Care of a 6-2 win over the Lightning at TD Garden. Jeremy Swayman was outstanding in net, making a season-high 43 saves. David Pastrnak led the offense with a goal and 2 assists. And Parker Wotherspoon added the first goal of his NHL career.
For sure. I mean, I've been waiting a long time for that moment, obviously. And so it's big. Obviously, my mom's in the crowd tonight, too, so it makes it a little bit bigger. And I know she's going to be fired up.
This was a 4-0 game at one point. The Bruins will go off in search of a third straight win on Saturday in Ottawa, and yesterday the team placed both Charlie McAvoy and Mark Kastelik on injured reserve. As for the Celtics, they'll be in Toronto tonight. The entire roster is available for this one. Grandy and Max had the pregame at 7, the tip-off at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Boston Globe also reported yesterday the sale of the team will begin to pick up pace next week. Ownership will begin accepting bids from prospective buyers a week from tomorrow. In NFL news, the Cleveland Browns yesterday promoted assistant coach Tommy Rees to offensive coordinator, seemingly denying Mike Vrabel of a candidate for that job here with the Patriots. Also, the Chicago Bears will speak to former Dallas head coach Mike McCarthy today. Minnesota assistant Brian Flores will meet with Jacksonville on Friday. And Detroit running back David Montgomery, a full go at practice yesterday as the playoff run for the Lions begins. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Albrecht Auto Group, Zoe's Auto Dealer. Get respect at Albrecht. Now 8 locations, including the all-new Subaru of Wakefield. Thousands of new and pre-owned vehicles, all at the right price at albrechtauto.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Half toucher.
Dressed like a gorilla.
Half Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider. With FanDuel, you could watch us on YouTube, and we're live in the morning. They have the shows up after the show, and then there's clips from all the shows. Joe Murray's live, too. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. All right, Adam. We're in 2025. That means everyone's getting very old, and this is time to reflect.
It is.
On our lives.
It is. It is. It's a time to reflect on our youth. It's a time to reflect on the music. We every January, I like to look back and see what the big, album anniversaries were. In fact, I just came back there with something from the Roots debut album, Do You Want More? Which was released in 1995. So that album turns 30 this year. Albums that were released in 1995 all turned 30 this year, so that can kind of put a fine.
They all did.
They all, yes, all of them, each and every one of them.
You're sure about that?
Yes.
Everything that was released in 1995 is 30.
I have enough fingers and toes to count it. And I decided, so over at Rock 92.9, which, believe it or not, is still a radio station, it's just really hard to find nowadays.
You know, I was listening to that the other day.
Were
and,
you? Miraculous.
I don't know. It's like spoken word stuff. I didn't really dig it.
When I turned it on the other day, they just said, "Hi, Fred. Thanks for tuning in," and I didn't even call in.
The funny thing is that one of the frequencies you can listen is 1330 a.m. So when you turn it on and hear like a Led Zeppelin song, it's like, oh, it's like I'm like in the 1970s all over again.
Yeah, you're like the
Led Zeppelin on AM radio.
You're the Everclear song.
Yeah, exactly.
AM radio.
Ugh. I don't know if they have an album that released in 1995. It didn't make this list over on the Rock 92.9 website, but a whole bunch did. So I figured this is, Hardy, this would be, you were working where in alternative rock radio in 1995?
WWDX, St. John's, Lansing, East Lansing, Michigan.
East Lansing, Michigan. And Hardy, Fred, you were just starting your career. You weren't
No, I was in college.
You were still in college.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an interesting...
I, on the other hand, as a showcase of my incredible talent and fortitude, spent 2 years in my college town after graduation, which is the sign of anybody who is really going to...
success, yeah.
Really going to take life by the balls and just show it what's what.
Well, you know that I sent a tape to that radio station, and the PD personally wrote me back about how I would never work in radio.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so you're not as big a loser as I am. If you're a loser, I tried to move there.
Well, the first radio station I worked for there was a country station, and the program director there told me I would never work in a major market doing radio.
I interned in the traffic department at WFMK, the easy listening station.
Yeah.
And the midday host, they had all these sales girls that had just graduated from Michigan State. Lansing's where Michigan State is. And they were all pretty attractive, like girls in their young 20s. This guy must have been 50 to 55 years old. He was a midday host in Lansing.
At an easy listening station.
He was probably pulling down like a solid $18,000 a year. And this guy was not banging one but two of the sales girls.
Wow.
Radio was a different time in radio.
It's different back then.
That's great.
Well, we played a lot
The microphone
of these.
actually was powerful instead of just something the Hawk Tua girl did.
We played a lot of these. I know, Hardy, I'll be interested to see which of these you played. Fred, I know you've spoken about this this period of time being a bit of a blind spot for you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. You are indeed a friend. Yes. When I was in college, I consumed no mass media, not in a cool academic way. We didn't have cable. I was never in my car listening to the radio. I had no idea what was going on in popular culture, which was great when I got out of college because I had never seen like Seinfeld. So all the reruns were like, good to me. Yeah. So I made up time. Believe me, I made up for it by consuming nothing but crap for the rest of my life. So let's hear it.
Well, this will be interesting because it'll be impressive if you get these because of your blind spot. Hardy, we'll see which of these you played on the radio. John Wallach, we'll see if he had segued out of his New Jack Swing era in the early '90s into some alternative rock in the mid '90s. Here, these songs from albums released in 1995.
So, what are we naming the album?
You got to name
artist title album.
Yeah, artist title album. I mean, you get a point for each.
Just say you know, and then we'll see how many of us know. The intro's not long enough.
Yeah,
it's obviously a huge hit.
Let's jump forward.
You want to be a rock?
Oasis.
Yeah, it's Oasis rock and roll star.
No, good guess. That's from the album that came out the year before.
So what's Story Morning?
There you go. Hardy's got it. From the album. There's a title track from the album.
All I needed was him saying the name of the album for me to get it.
Let's do another.
I actually thought it was Oasis from the beginning, from the opening. I should have said something.
I thought it was Blur.
Same difference.
Yeah.
What the hell's the difference?
Well, let's stay in the UK. Not for Blur, though, but
Radiohead.
You got it right away.
Yeah, Fake Plastic Trees.
All right. Good job, Freddie.
Yeah, I know that. And that's The Bends, which is the only album by Radiohead that I enjoy.
That is the best Radiohead album in their entire catalog. Anyone that says that their best album is that crap they put out in the early 2000s,
Okay,
there,
Computer?
Amnesiac. No, that's a good one. I would put that second or third. In Rainbows from 2007 is a sneaky good album, but Amnesiac and Kid A are absolute garbage, and you can tell someone's musical taste by if they say that that's a good Radiohead album. You know that they have poor taste in music.
I think Just off of The Bends is one of the best songs of all time.
Excellent song, a great music video too.
It's a disturbing music video, but I think Just is a top 10 song of all time. How about that?
That's
kaboom!
bold.
And I don't even like Radiohead that much.
All right, this is an easy one, I think.
That's Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, Smashing Pumpkins.
Yes.
I mean, I even know that. I never cared for them.
You don't like? They were literally my favorite band for a time in the 90s.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
I like Siamese Dream.
Love that
and I think there's good stuff on there. I mean, Melancholy was fine, and there's some good songs on it, but that's a double album, isn't it?
Yeah. So here's the
With
deal.
a dumb cover and stupid videos.
No, but but really though, how impressive is this?
Correct.
But really though, so Smashing Pumpkins released Siamese Dream in '93, big hit, breakthrough album for them. Cobain kills himself in '94, and Virgin Records goes to Billy Corgan and says, "Guess what? You're the new Kurt Cobain. Now go make a record. Smashing Pumpkins are the new Nirvana. Go make a record." So the dude goes and makes a double album. That's a ballsy move.
Okay. I mean, he was very self-indulgent.
I was unaware of the
That's a
history.
that's a whole other
He's
piece.
going to force twice as many songs upon the audience than what they really want.
I see you feel very strongly about that.
They played, they played before that game at Wrigley, the hockey game. They just played. Did you? Any of you know that?
No.
The NHL's really falling off.
Yeah.
They played like over Christmas at Wrigley before an outdoor hockey game.
I'm a fan, and I didn't even know that.
Well, yeah, you're a fan. You're not going to know that they played a hockey game. That's so funny. I know that I can understand why you guys wouldn't know that, but it is funny that it just happened. And it was. Remember when the Winter Classic was a big deal?
Yeah.
Now it gets like no one's watching.
No one's watching, and their fix is to have them play an outdoor game in Florida
and play two of them.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
Okay, so this one, debut album from a band that got pretty big in the 90s. This was the lead single from that. If you get this, I'll be impressed. I don't think Fred or John will get it. Hardy, you might.
Is this
garbage?
It is garbage.
Self-titled debut album.
Yes. Do you know the name of the song?
Nope.
Okay. It's called Vow.
I like Paranoid.
Oh,
better,
yeah.
but-
We played this. We
Yes.
played Garbage
Is
Vow.
it I Think I'm Paranoid or just Paranoid?
I think I'm paranoid. Good one. Yeah.
Well, when a woman sang, and you said they were a big band, I understood it was garbage.
There you go. Good album. Good song. I love that song.
Oh, you like everything.
Freddie, come on, man. What's this one?
Oh, this is No Doubt.
No Doubt.
I mean,
Name of the album, Tragic Kingdom?
There you go.
Wow.
I guess
now this I liked.
Yeah, what was your thought on now? You were a ska band before No Doubt broke.
I knew nothing about No Doubt.
Okay.
I knew nothing about them. They didn't. I mean, I knew this song was a song.
Are they a ska band though? I mean,
I think they were a ska band.
Yeah.
They were like a SoCal ska band. And by the way, Gwen Stefani, whatever you think of how she looks like now, she is like a sex symbol. When they were like a young band, she was like a dork, like a dorky chick that was like in a dorky ska band. And, then she became the Hollaback Girl.
Yeah.
A complete creation of a record company.
Yeah, and now making like country Christmas albums with her husband from whatever reality TV show.
Is it The
he
Voice
does.
that she's
I
on
think
now?
so.
Yeah, he's they met on The Voice.
Okay.
Her and the country guy.
She was married to Gavin Rossdale of Bush, but then he started banging the nanny. So.
And then she was dating someone in her band first, though, right?
yes, the bass player, Tony.
There you go.
Well, yeah, I
Good job,
interviewed.
John.
I interviewed No Doubt one time at a music festival, and she was married to Gavin Rossdale, and I think she had a kid with him. And I was like, if you have a girl, it's gonna be big stuff 18 years from now, like the hot stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then she didn't care for that.
No.
I don't care for this music video because they showed footage of a gentleman getting his trombone ready, but I didn't hear any trombone at all.
Oh.
Yeah, you gotta stand by that.
Squirrel nut zippers.
There you go.
Yeah,
Big bad voodoo. Now we got to go wait a few years for the swing stuff. That's late
Oh,
90s.
good. Yeah, that was great.
Okay, what about this?
Oh, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Know the name of the song?
My
the
Friends.
album? And what's the name of the album?
One Hot Minute.
Oh, Hardy, just with the trifecta.
This is the Dave Navarro
Yes,
era.
which is it's sneaky good album.
Oh, shut up,
It's a
Adam.
sneaky good album.
So
this
there's one
song
good.
is but
there's one good song on, it, and that is the lead single.
Warped.
Warped.
Yes.
Warped is a good song.
Why this song sucks, the thing that you alerted me to and a listener did where the guy breaks down why song sucks, which is extraordinarily hit or miss.
Oh, you're talking about the Pat Finnerty stuff?
Pat
Yeah,
Finnerty
yeah.
stuff. There's this guy on YouTube that's a musician, and he breaks down why songs suck. It's a real hit or miss situation. He does fancy like, obviously, and things. Those are quick ones. He does a good one for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but don't try that in a small town. There's a quote by the guy that did that said all female country artists sound the same. So he not only clips together a bunch of dudes that sound exactly the same, the guy who did Don't Try That in a Small Town is singing a duet on stage with someone who sounds, you would not be able to differentiate their voices. The guys in the Don't Try That, you remember Don't Try That in a Small Town? It was like a big rallying cry for Hicks. Like, and then it was like banned from radio, which I highly, highly, highly doubt that was banned from radio. That seems a little bit of a media creation.
Yeah.
The band looks like douchebags from like Good Charlotte. Like they are, they look They have faux hawks
That's
and like
interesting.
sunglasses.
That's interesting that like modern country guys, they dress like kind of like emo pop punk guys from the early 2000s. That kind of is the style tip.
But he does the Machine Gun Kelly song that's Country Road, but he says whatever the other thing he says instead of Country Road. And he does with Jelly Roll. And the video is, he breaks down the video, and the video is absolutely a joke. There's a title sequence. There's credits at the end. Megan Fox is in it, and the lady that Jelly Roll's married to are in it. He gets a medical bill that has a big, I already told you this, with a big stamp on it that says overdue. So he spray paints his dirt bike and goes and robs a bank.
That's right. They won't notice it because it's spray painted, you see.
Yeah, because that hides the bike. They would never know. And then he wears this, and the guy makes the point, he wears this like $10,000 helmet with distinguishing marks.
Which, by the way, somebody
and he wears a helmet to go rob a bank.
When we talked about this video last week, somebody emailed and said it's the plot from The Place Beyond the Pines, the Ryan Gosling movie.
Yeah.
The dirt bike bank robbery. I saw that before 10 years ago when it was in a movie.
Pat Finnerty's the guy. You got to look him up on YouTube.
There might not be a phonier, non-artistic person on the planet than Machine Gun Kelly.
Agreed.
That's willing to just do whatever.
Yeah. Just to stay famous.
Whatever you need me to
whatever
do.
Song.
I'm gonna, because I assure you this, he's not gonna be famous anymore.
No.
Like, this is over for him. He's taken too many swings and missed. I understand that dumb song got like a bunch of YouTube hits, but he's not a big artist. This is going to be something people are embarrassed that they consumed. But new country people don't care what it is.
No.
As long as it's white
they can
guys.
drink to it. Yes.
Or Darius Rucker.
Yes.
Because he's hardy, you know what? One of the good ones.
You want one more of these from
Again, when Darius
1995?
Rucker plays a country festival, some guy will go, "What the hell down?" And they'll go, "Slow down." He's one of the good ones. For one thing, I'll tell you this: he's well spoken.
Yeah.
For one of them. And I think he wants to drain the swamp too. So
yeah,
let the man sing.
That's right.
Don't let your ladies
He's
around
fixing
him.
to do wagon wheel. Shush.
Yeah, shush.
All right, one more.
Well, he was in that crazy ass band Hootie and the Blow. It ain't that wild anymore.
Yeah, don't worry.
He ain't asking to hold any white girl's hand. Try holding that white girl's hand in a small town. That ain't gonna go over too well.
All right, one more from
in the video for "Don't Try That in a Small Town." Someone lights a flag on fire and they stomp on it, and they didn't care for that.
No.
All right, should we do one more?
Yes.
From
Why
1995?
not? Why not, Adam?
Albums that turned 30.
With Billy's on next. Kill as much time as you can.
This is one of my favorite albums from 95. Turns 30 this year. I think it's this band's best album in their entire catalog.
Oh, Foo Fighters, self-titled.
Yep.
Yeah, good album.
I'll stick around. Foo Fighters is just a Nirvana, Sunday Real Estate Germs supergroup.
If you want to talk about something impressive, it's Dave Grohl, the least recognizable member and the shortest. He was only in Nirvana for like a little bit.
Right.
That he turned around and became the biggest star in rock music is incredibly impressive. And I'll tell you how he did it again. He did it because he was so charismatic and charming. And he was very humble. That's the way he did it. He'd come into your radio station. He'd do what you wanted to do. And not in like a kiss-assy corporate way. He was a really nice guy.
Genuine.
He got it. He's in every documentary. He's in the Descendants documentary, Filmage. I mean, the guy is a really, really great guy, and that's why Nirvana. That's why the Foo Fighters have maintained this long.
Yeah,
because they're not the best band.
No, but apparently he's also got a knack for writing really catchy, hooky 3-4 minute pop rock songs, which, a lot of Nirvana was too. The Kurt Cobain, maybe not your favorite songwriter of all time, but the guy could write you a song with a hook and a bridge and a chorus, and he could do all that. But all the while, Dave Grohl could do it too.
But I was so precious when Nirvana got big. I mean, I knew of Bleach and everything, but when Nirvana got big, I was so precious about music that I thought like, why is this the band that broke? Like, they're not the best at this. Like, why is this the band? So that was ridiculous, and that was me being, a teenager and thinking that I was so cool. But I do look back, and people will go like Nirvana's like this, like the greatest band, and I still say why. Like, there's not a million, but there's a few dozen bands of that era that I would say are better than Nirvana in the same genre. A few dozen. I'm not joking.
Right place, right time.
Right producer.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, Butch Vig on Nevermind.
Well, it's Albini. Albini did the next one?
Yeah,
right?
he did In
That's
Utero,
right.
yeah.
Yep.
Albini, very controversial.
We've dorked out enough. That's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, those were really underground bands.
Yeah.
We really blew over our audience.
Well, when you start talking about the producers of the different albums, that's when it gets a little dorky.
And people know. That's one of the biggest album of one of the biggest albums of all time. All right, anyway, we'll be back. Our friend Billy Jaffe coming off 2 big wins from your Bruins will talk to us.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Get ready to elevate your game this NFL playoff season with FanDuel, because right now, all customers can get a no-sweat NFL same-game parlay for any game. You got to place a 3-leg NFL same-game parlay, and then you get bonus bets back if your bet doesn't win. Same-game parlay is a perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. Now, you could build it yourself, but there's a bunch of pre-built same...
Witherspoon rips it just under the crossbar. It's 2-0 Bruins.
Joining you from home before I run to the airport.
Okay.
Did the game last night. How are you guys this morning?
We're good. And look, the Bruins have been whatever, disappointing, but they've beat two good teams in a row. What are they doing differently?
Well, each game was different. The Florida game and then the Tampa one. They did get great goaltending in both games, but this one was different than the Florida game. Swayman was locked in again in this one, but they came out and started real well. Not only did they get the early goal, but they came on, they added to it, and that was nice to see against Tampa. Both teams shorthanded a bit, but they played with. Giving up shots, definitely, and we talked about this as we recorded Morning Brew late last night. There were shots and there were good tips, and some of those shots were from the outside too. So I think they did a better job in this game of kind of defending, and on the flip side too, they scored, and they hadn't been finishing a lot. They did some nice finish in the game last night, and that made a difference.
Yeah, you had mentioned that before, that they weren't necessarily playing poorly all the time on both ends of the ice. But if they had that initial rush, there wasn't any finish to it in terms of the first shot or picking up any rebounds in front of the net. So the finish was better last night. But Billy, what is it that happens with teams? And I think maybe we saw a bit of it last night, where you change the lineup due to injury or for whatever reason, and it just seems to spark something. Did any of that have to do with the injuries that are out last night, guys playing more minutes or in different positions, or just some differences out there that somehow makes things better?
I think that the injuries, now that you're down McAvoy in addition to Lindholm, but Lindholm's been out for a while, so I don't know if you're used to that, but he's been there. I think it absolutely gets guys' attention from oh boy, we better be better. And secondly, I might get more opportunity, in particular if you're a defenseman. And so they all want to kind of, pick up not just for themselves, but each other and say, all right, let's do better there. I do think, you had Charlie Coyle that was uncertain if he would play or not due to illness. He comes in and plays. So everybody's saying, wait a second, we got to be prepared for everything. And I don't know if it's any different than the non-professional athlete going into work. Sometimes somebody else isn't there. Somebody gets a chance to sit in the chair, so to speak, next to one of you guys.
Good luck replacing me.
It brings up the energy.
A lot of guys have failed,
But I think it's a natural human thing. It builds you up. You get yourself more excited. It gives a different look. But I just think in partying and everything, it's that mental focus. You're like, all right, let's be sharp here. And you play, so to speak, at attention a bit more. But I thought that this game also brought a lot of energy going into it. This wasn't a regular Tuesday night game against, whatever, middle of the season. This was against Tampa. You had some stuff with last week. And I think that also got everybody's heartbeat up and attention going.
What is your sense to how long McAvoy is going to be out? I know he's out at least a week, but how much beyond that?
Well, he could come back in theory, as early. I think it's Saturday. I think it's retroactive IR in the NHL. Johnny, you can go back to retro to start the injured week when the injury happened. So that was last week, and they're saying he's been dealing with stuff, but obviously it got worse last week, and then so in theory could be back for Saturday. I'm guessing it's going to be more than that. Joe Sacco just talked about you're going to shut him down for a couple of games to see if they can get better. I mean, we know that he skated yesterday and skated pretty hard. So the deductive capabilities say that it's an upper body injury, not a lower body injury, which I guess is a good thing. And if he's been dealing with it already, maybe you take a week or two off, Johnny, and then you come back. But, I don't know exactly what it is. If it's just something. They have breaks here. You have 3 days here, then you play Ottawa. Next week's busy, real busy. So I'm hoping sometime next week, if the body's healed up, that he can come back.
One more question about last night's game. Why can't Frederick play like that all the time?
Well, I think he wants to be like that all the time. You're not going to fight every night. It's not the way it is.
But I understand, but he was much
League.
more active last night than I can remember him, and maybe it was the revenge thing, and maybe it was, I don't know what it was.
He was on left wing. He was on left wing, and he loved center. He came in the league or was drafted as a center, but I think as a left winger, it maybe allows him to just go up and down more. And you have a guy in Patra who came up and played pretty well last night and had his legs going. And I think for Trent, I think that is, John, the way that you want to see him play more regularly, impactful like that. He picked a good spot to get into a fight that was going to happen. At least it felt that way. And I thought he did really well in the fight.
Okay. There was a report by a very popular host, certainly around here, that Marchand, there's problems in the locker room, and that Pastrnak and Marchand they can't stand each other. It was Pastrnak that didn't want to play on the line with Marchand, right? Yeah. Pastrnak doesn't want to play on the line with Marchand, and they hate each other, and it's causing all these rifts in the locker room. What are you seeing? That's true, right?
First I've heard of that.
Right? You missed Marchand responding to it. Okay,
I don't know.
You got to get more involved, Bill. Come on. I know. Okay.
I'm
so
like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Is it true? Can you say it's not true?
I've never seen anything like that. I don't think it's true at all.
Okay,
no,
but I can tell you what I don't know what's going on this year, but I know for a fact recently were friends. Like friends. So I like that. So something.
No, they're listen. I'm not going to speak to it because I'm not. But I see them laughing all the time, and the way that these guys present themselves, they're such intense, fierce competitors. In the old days, I shouldn't say it that way. A couple of years ago, Bergeron talked about how after a while they'd be the Bickerson couples on the bench. They'd bicker back and forth about things, and then March would be like, "Okay, enough," and then they're going out scoring, hugging, and saying, "I love you." I mean, so that's what I look at. I laugh at it. I heard about it, and then I did end up getting Marchand's response, and I thought it was great. And I don't know. To me, saying that there could be anything wrong, it'd be a shock to me. I don't see it. And they were hugging last night on the ice, so they're laughing, and they've laughed about it, all that stuff. So I don't see anything to it.
But you don't see them. You don't look. I'm not. I don't think that it's true either. But you don't think that they're friends?
They are friends.
Yeah, they are. They are friends. That's
what I'm saying.
Guys. Yeah. They play golf together.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They're the kind of friends that are also super amazing athletes, and everybody's been out there with somebody they're playing with, they talk with, and I'm saying if they even ever were to gripe at each other, they're great friends. Are you kidding me? They're I can't. I was laughing at this when this came out. I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
crazy.
just to my experience, I was under the assumption that they were friends. That's all. All right, so I don't know anything.
I think they're great friends.
Yeah. All right. So, has there ever been a time where a player in your broadcasting career has gotten pissy with you off air about something?
Yes, once, maybe twice.
Was it a Bruin?
No, it was not.
Okay, can you tell the story?
It's probably too long. I can tell you one story that a guy that I think the world of, Dwayne Rolson, a goalie, was with the New York Islanders. There was a play. He felt he was interfered with. I didn't feel that he was interfered with, and this was me just doing analysis. And I guess it got back to him that I said, well, I didn't think that his glove was hit or that it was okay. And this is even when goal interference stuff calls were happening. And it got back to me that he wasn't happy with me and what I had said, because somebody from outside the broadcast, outside the team, had actually told him about it, which I was like, what? Okay, whatever. And then I said, well, if he's pissed at me, have him talk to me, And I thought we were buddies too, And anyway, so then the next time at practice, a day or two later, I went up to him. And again, I think the world of this guy. And I'm like, Rolly, what are you talking about? And he said, oh, you said this, you said that. I said, oh, this is my opinion. And I said, this was my take on it. And I said, if I'm wrong of my analysis, tell me I'm wrong. But don't be talking and telling me that you're pissed off at me. And he said, okay. And we hugged it out. I mean, it's like there was – and ever since then, we've always been good buddies. So that's just a player that, again, in the heat of the moment, sometimes, and like I said, I think I actually said to him too, well, if I made a mistake, It doesn't mean that it was anything personal. You got to understand that.
And it was like an analysis of something on the ice. That's his problem. Have you guys ever gotten any, you two, John and Artie, have you ever gotten anyone pissed off at you?
Yeah.
I have.
Yes.
Yeah, you have for sure, John, because you were in the locker room.
Yeah.
You Red Sox, right? Red Sox guys.
Yeah, Youkilis and Francona were the two.
Yeah.
Mine was a Revolution player.
Did you just laugh and go, I'm better than you?
It was so ridiculous and so stupid. Talk about something. It's like I wasn't even speaking ill of him. I was like emceeing an event, and I tried to pay him a compliment, and he got all butthurt about it. I was introducing the players one by one. I said, "This guy's built like a linebacker. He's." And apparently he's sensitive about his weight.
Oh, Jesus
Because
Christ.
most soccer players are, very svelte. And he got really, really pissed off. And one of the other players had to calm him down. And I went up to him. I said, I was trying to pay you a compliment. I'm saying you're physically fit. He's like, no, man. I'm done with you. I'm I'm like, when did you ever start with me?
Yeah.
We don't have a relationship.
Well, when did the station have a problem with that? Because you alienated one of our big guests?
Yes, it was a big issue. I had to write letters and have sit downs with the upper management of the Revs. Yeah,
and you guys know that Lucic got pissed at me one time, which was odd because we were very, very friendly, and he got real mad at me because I said I thought he was going to be moved. I didn't think he was going to be on the team anymore. And he wasn't on the team anymore. Yeah. All right, Billy Jaffe, look, good stuff. We appreciate it. And hopefully, this team continues this and we can get excited about this team again. So,
well, big game on Saturday, couple of days off, little practice time, which is important for this team, and then a really big game Saturday. They got Ottawa, who, the Bruins are in that battle for the 7, 8, 9, the wild card spot in the East, and Ottawa's right there too.
Very important to get 2 points in these games, as we were saying. 2 points.
Yep. Very much.
All right, Billy, enjoy yourself. Safe travels today on that huge flight to Secaucus.
Thank you. Yes.
We always appreciate the time, Billy. Thanks,
Billy.
See you guys. Have a good day, guys.
All right, there you go. Our good friend Billy Jaffe. If you insult someone's performance on the field or on the ice, you can be wrong and sound stupid, but I don't know how they can really get mad at you. Mad, right? Annoyed, but not mad. It's the personal stuff where I could see getting really pissed off.
That was the Youkilis thing with me.
It was a personal thing?
It was a personal thing, but it wasn't me directly. I was on a show where the two hosts were talking about his girlfriend, who wound up marrying Ben Affleck.
Oh, that
later.
will do it.
And she's like, why would she date Youkilis? My God, he's not exactly the most handsome guy in the world. And they went on for about 10 minutes.
He's not.
But because I was part of the show, I walked into the locker room later that afternoon, and he was not happy.
Oh, really? Because they called him ugly?
Yes, not happy.
He was that mad they called him ugly?
Very much so.
Huh.
Like he didn't know.
Very upset.
That's the thing is, if anyone ever called me ugly, I don't know what I'd do. I mean, it's never happened, but I would. I don't know. I can only sympathize because it's never ever happened to me. All right, we will be back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
such an fantastic explosion.
98.5, the Sports Hub.
Immigrants to the UK or the United States do this. Why does it have to be guys from Nebraska?
Is March 11th a weekday this year? Should we do a 3/11 day?
No. You know who is like legit that did that? That a white guy that did patois that is like actually kind of legit.
Tuesday.
And he gets a lot of crap is Snow from Informer.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He recorded, like, when Informer broke, he was in jail, like real jail for like real stuff. He was from, I guess, like a big, it's East Indian, right? Like a big East Indian neighborhood. Like he like legitimately developed that. That was the way he talked.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It is. But yes, 311 maintains. I mean, their fan base is huge and loyal.
And dumb. Fans of very dumb stuff.
Do you know what he's saying in the first line?
Yeah, why?
In the first line of lyrics in the chorus of the song Informer. Informer.
You know
say Daddy Snow, they gonna blame.
Almost.
What is it?
Say Daddy, me no. Say Daddy, me Snow, me, I go blame. A licky boom boom down.
You want to hear something really dumb? In Too Deep, the hit song by Sum 41 was originally going to be Derek Whibley and Snow and MC Shan. We're going to be the guys that did that. Oh, and the guy that groomed him for sex that was in that that Canadian band.
You know what the first line is in 311's Down?
Chill.
S.A. Martinez is the worst rapper of all time that's ever been on a hit record. That's a fact.
I brought them on stage at the Sunshine Theater in Albuquerque and watched a little bit of the set, and they were using a teleprompter.
Well, you can't. Well, yeah, when you're flowing like that, you can't just remember. Like that whack channel, The Real World is on, is a line of his. That is from Down. Like that whack channel, and it doesn't even fit into it. He's like, that whack channel, The Real World is on.
Chill.
Here why?
That is my ego becomes.
They wrote some bangers, though. They had some hooks in there.
A funky child with some words on my tongue.
Yeah.
He's a funky child.
With some words on his tongue.
So while I gather my spit, I dream of juice. Yeah.
Let's
say he's like his Capri Sun.
Jeez.
Have you ever made? All right, now I got to look. We're not doing anything.
No, it's
here,
okay.
But
Yeah. We just got to talk about 311.
Yeah,
I got 2 minutes.
I have to see if you can find the drop that he says here why, because I could listen to it for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I'll just hold on.
I bet you light up when we start the show. Follow me now, very close, because I
Follow
told
me now.
you so.
Follow me now, because I told you so.
Is here why in Down?
Here why?
Yeah.
If I just play Down.
No. Here why?
No, that is Come Original.
Come Original.
Oh, okay.
Come Original. You got to Come Original. All entertainer. Here why?
Here why? Yeah. All right, so here it is. Light on my side as my ego becomes a funky child with some words on my tongue.
This is Down that you're doing the lyrics.
Be like intake of breath and my mouth gets loose, so while I scatter my spit, I dream of juice. Have you ever made out in dark hallways, displayed a kiss that made a day, say?
What you said is a reference to like something else, because I made fun of that once, and you said no, that you actually knew what he was talking about. Making out in dark hallways.
Oh, I can look. Yeah, the reference. The line contains a quote directly from the 1974 Pierre Thomas book, 7 Long Times.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can reference something obscure, and just jam it in. That doesn't make it clever.
It doesn't make it clever. What makes it clever is play a track from your record collection. It's your mix. Congratulations.
Here's you go. Lightning strikes, yo. We be that violent force of light, guaranteed to turn it out as bad as Dolomite. Oof. Because we're dope, kid, changed like a chameleon, and the
chameleon
and the channel, whatever the whack show, Real World is on. So he goes, because we're dope, kid, it changed like a chameleon, and the channel, whatever the whack show, the Real World's on.
That's actually kind of impressive.
It works.
It doesn't fit.
But he makes it. But he makes it fit. He makes it flow.
absolutely does not, Adam. He absolutely does not. And by the way, he knows what the F. If you hate MTV so much, stop making MTV song videos that are in rotation.
That video for Come Original, Peanut's making the silly faces.
I like Peanut. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's all right. All right, I forget. Yeah, this is.
So
all right, hang on a second. Rick, go ahead. Rick, go ahead.
I'm in traffic in Providence right now. I am behind a Subaru Outback. His license plate, you ready for this? CCCIX, which is in Roman numerals 311.
Wow. Subaru driver, shocking.
Well, it should be CCCXI.
Takes one to know one.
CCCIX is 309.
And CCC were the call letters of the dumb radio station we were on in Portland. That was a huge waste of time. All right. Very good. I just came up with it.
hell did
Oh, no,
that
it was
come from?
WCCY.
Oh, CYY.
Or CYY.
CYY. Not even close.
I like WCYY. Don't talk smack about them. Good radio station.
They
They had a good morning show for a while there.
For no reason. I just saying that we were on for no
We
reason.
were winning the ratings battle. Cut off.
No, we were not. We were not doing well at all.
I legit would drive home from Maine and be stoked once it was in range. And if it was in the morning, I could listen to you guys. Yeah.
See? We had
It's
one
nice.
guy who was listening right over there.
Out of the market.
I want
to hear why.
Hear why? I want to do something on the air one
get you
day.
chill.
I want to listen to Skee-Lo, I Wish. And you tell me if it's not one of the best rap performances that didn't do anything, did nothing for him. It was a big hit song, and
Huge.
Skee-Lo didn't do anything else. But I listened to it in its entirety the other day. It was my son and I were in the car, and he likes the song too. I'm like, this has got some flow. This has got some like Eminem style like sensibility.
So, Adam,
and
play
flow
this
to
when we
it.
come back.
No, we don't have time for
You're
it now.
very off. But real
Wait,
quick.
wait, I am with Skee-Lo?
Yeah, it's a nice song, but it's a novelty song. JP, go ahead.
Hey, Fred, I wanted to thank you. As someone who exclusively had to listen to 311 all throughout fraternity, pledging my brain's in psychological orbit right now.
Yeah, that was a big college thing. And but for me, you might be. How old are you?
I'm 36.
Okay, yeah, because I'm older than you. Bob Marley Legend played on a loop, and everyone had a Bob Marley Legend poster.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
universal.
And a Scarface poster.
That's universal, the Bob Marley.
I don't know where you went. Well, you went to Northeastern. Of course, everyone had a
They
Scarface
sold them
poster.
on the quad.
Yeah,
Like, literally.
You were in a you were in the urban jungle there. You were you were fighting for your life over there at Northeastern.
Class of 99.
All right.
Wallach's College is just Jan and Dean posters.
Well, you weren't allowed to have them up there. On
No.
the account they were communists.
Jan and Dean.
That was during the Red Scare.
What a pull.
That was impressive.
Jan and Dean. Surf City,
Oh,
here
I
we
know.
come.
We all had the Peter, Paul, and Mary
No.
posters in our room.
It was Dick Dale. You were close.
Ah, there you go. Mr. Lou.
No, they had the Rock Around the Clock, and then it
Oh,
was,
Bill Haley in the comments. Oh,
yeah, and then they were like, nope. When the RA would come around, he'd just rip them
That's
down
right.
and say that's
right.
that's socialist. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
More.
Point a shot, rebound, score!
WBZFM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Easily Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Don't look now, but the Bruins now have back-to-back wins for the first time since before Christmas.
Andrew Pete moving high slot, takes a shot. Save made by Vasilevsky, back in front, and Pasternak blasts it home. Zaka fed it to him perfectly at the left circle. It's 4-0.
That is Ryan Johnson here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Bruins beat Tampa Bay 6-2 at TD Garden. David Pasternak had that goal and 2 assists. Parker Wotherspoon added his first NHL goal, and the team scored a pair of empty net goals late to put the game away. They're off until Saturday afternoon when they visit Ottawa. Celtics will be in Toronto tonight to play the last-place Raptors. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Boston Globe reported yesterday the team will be accepting bids to purchase the franchise beginning a week from tomorrow. In NFL news, Cleveland has promoted assistant coach Tommy Rees to offensive coordinator. That seemingly denies Mike Vrabel of the candidate for that job here. Also, the Chicago Bears will speak to Mike McCarthy today. Minnesota assistant Brian Flores will meet with Jacksonville this Friday, and the Red Sox assigned free agent reliever Robert Stock to a minor league contract. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Boston Vision. Make 2025 the year you ditch the glasses and contacts and start seeing 2020 with a LASIK procedure from the team at Boston Vision. Book a free evaluation today at bostonvision.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston Till for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
You want to talk sports? We want to talk sports.
Squeeze the chicken and open the mouth.
It's like we were meant for each other.
This is why you need us.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Fred describes himself in 7 words.
A guy in tights and a cape.
And Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Dutcher and Hardy continue.
I think I think sometimes coaches, and even Joe has his moments, right, where you maybe they take it, I don't want to say too seriously, or like they don't respond sometimes great to criticism, right? Like I think that's fair. Like and Joe is good. Like Joe gives it both ways, so I shouldn't bring him into this. But I think JJ Redick wants to hear how great his team is and how great maybe he is, and
I think he wants to hear how great he is first, and then how good the team is.
And so when he is not told how great he is or how great his team is, he probably pushes back a little bit. But like, I don't know. I think Charles Barkley is a pretty honest person. His opinions are not always correct. He's usually pretty wrong.
He's an entertainer, though, and
right?
He's very, very good, and he's a Hall of Famer, and he's an original Dream Team guy. So all the credentials that you need, he's great on TV. They got him doing sports. They got him doing hockey, for Christ's sake.
Golf at times.
Yeah,
he is so great when he does like an NCAA game. He has no clue who they are.
Yeah.
And, like we've all been put in that situation where we're supposed to comment on something we have no idea about
every day.
And like,
I'm not kidding.
How do you respond? Like how do you either just admit you have no idea and go with it? But like when they do the who he played for and stuff like that. I find that stuff funny because, like, I'll admit I don't know every roster, like who this guy plays for. I was looking at the Rookie of the Year odds this year. I'm like, who are these guys? Like,
well, yeah, of course, that draft was a joke, but it's funny to me that Redick has been in the media and takes himself so incredibly seriously, and I don't know why anyone, unless it's a total act, and he's just constantly acting. Because his press conferences, he holds the mic and thinks about things like he acts like he's this super intellectual.
Well, yeah, and I think you've nailed it before when you said he's trying to do this like Pat Riley impersonation.
That was my theory, Chris, is that he's cosplaying as Pat Riley.
How long can you get away with that?
Not long.
No, but none.
You have to be off.
You can't, unless you're going to win.
Well, I mean, the Lakers aren't good.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just not. And so
they've been pushing back the collapse for a few years now.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron is 40. I mean, as good as he is, there's a drop-off coming. For everybody. Anthony Davis and who else is a redeeming feature of that roster?
Not Austin Reeves. I don't know.
Reeves is a middling player who starts for them.
I don't know. Like everyone keeps saying, like, oh, they'll make some moves at the deadline. I mean, every year they're kind of scraping just to be in the mix. I will say for JJ, like we start, and I hate to bring everything back to the Celtics, but okay. So Joe's first year here, maybe walking on eggshells a little bit. We could see some of the quirks and stuff like that, but he never leaned fully into it. It was after that first year where he's just like, I have to be myself. I'm weird in various ways. I have unique views. And once you saw that, we all could buy in. Like, we all understood. Whereas the first time we're just, you didn't know. So maybe JJ, but like, I want to give JJ the benefit of the doubt, but
he was a dick to Felger and Maz. He was a dick on TV. Like,
and it's always been the reputation. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I've never met him personally.
You know who not to interrupt you know who hated him? Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant really hated him. Carmelo Anthony was just on this podcast that I got, in my algorithm. I didn't listen to the podcast because I'm a human being with things to do, but I did see the 10-second clip, and I guess Redick was on the team when Carmelo Anthony, one of the USA teams he was on. Redick was on the college team that practiced against him.
Yeah.
And so Kobe was like beating the hell out of Redick and like wouldn't let him get the ball, and like in practice it was like wouldn't let him like he was because he's way better. So like every time Redick would get the ball, he'd just take it away from him. And Carmelo Anthony went up to him. He goes, like, what's going on? He's like, F that guy, man. F that guy. F that guy.
But I bet Kobe did that with a lot of people.
Blocking a shot in the layup line.
They asked Carmelo Anthony, like, who did something like along the lines of who did Kobe Bryant hate? And he said JJ Redick.
Which is ironic because the Lakers, even in the after with Kobe passing, like they still high such a regard of his opinion, So I don't know. I will give him this one out is that the white male basketball player always has to have a little extra swagger, or a little extra something.
At Duke, he rapped.
Oh yeah.
Were you aware of that?
No.
Yes.
Oh yeah. He rapped, but he read it as poetry when he was on TV and being featured.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's almost not worth playing, Hardy, because if
it's
you can find it, that's
somewhere.
great.
Yeah.
No, JJ Redick got a lot of crap. He played at Duke. He was a white guy at Duke. He's annoying. And then, he got a lot of crap in the NBA. The only time I sat courtside, someone said over/under on the amount of gay sex acts he had done to someone. And he looked and he went and he waved his hand like he didn't know, and then he went up and then he pointed up. So I actually liked JJ.
I kind of like that.
No, I liked it. He was playing along.
I do have a clip of him on with Felger and Maz when he was acting like that.
Oh yeah, okay, here he is.
Do you think Tatum gets over scrutinized?
Do I think Jason Tatum gets over scrutinized? Yeah, everybody gets over scrutinized. That's what I think. I think everybody gets over scrutinized. Again, if you look at the sort of history of best players on the best team, and by that I mean sort of the superstar who wins a championship, right?
Oh, this is boring. All right, never mind.
Yeah, it was just too boring.
Condescending ass.
No, there was
a lot. There was a lot of meat in that interview where he was being way worse than that.
Yeah.
All right. And another non-Celtics thing. Speaking of Pat Riley, there is the Jimmy Butler situation going on in Miami. Apparently, Pat Riley wrote a 10-page essay to the league about why he's suspended with video because he has to justify to the league and the Players Association why he suspended Jimmy Butler.
The Players Association was on that quickly, so
and he went, all right, well here you go, and he sent them video in a 10-page document about how Jimmy Butler wasn't trying and he could actively prove it. Is Jimmy Butler good enough anymore to be doing this? And
was Jimmy
Riley's
Butler
not going to
good
bend.
enough?
Yeah. Riley, and it doesn't. Riley, the big story about this is Jimmy Butler's doing all this to Pat Riley, and Pat Riley's been through this before, and he's not going to cave.
Well, the standoff, just real quick, the standoff started during the last offseason. Butler's in the last year of his contract. He's going to opt out after this year. So Pat Riley had a chance to sign him to a contract extension and said, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. You're 35. I'm not paying you $60 million a year for your late 30s. So Butler has acted out ever since then. He's like, I deserve, and it finally came.
Oh, and look, I think he's got an option for 50-something million. Like, who's paying him that next year?
Right.
So I think he's going to opt in no matter where he ends up, unless he's just so miserable. And so that's like Pat Riley's final revenge, if he wants it, is to trade him to some place that's even less of a contender. But I don't know what team that is. Like, what team needs a veteran who hasn't proven he can get you to the championship, but he can't win you it.
Can I just ask him, John? Let's talk about that, because If I'm Cleveland, I don't want Jimmy Butler.
No.
I don't want anyone messing around with that.
There's one team that wants him.
Who?
Phoenix. Phoenix
Okay.
wants him because Kevin Durant wants
They're
him.
such a mess. I don't know if they
but
want
they
him.
have. But the thing is, the salary matching. They have Bradley Beal, who is
Right.
on an equally bad salary.
Exactly. So what's Miami's motivation in that?
No, because that's the thing
to
is
get
that
rid of Jimmy Butler.
No, but Riley, apparently, from what I've read, because this interests me, Riley will under no circumstances do that. They go around the league and ask other executives, and they're like, he just won't.
Yeah. No, Phoenix wants him. That doesn't mean if Riley has
No,
to
no,
trade
no.
him
Yeah,
there.
but like Riley is not going to trade Jimmy Butler to a place he wants to go.
Sure.
Like he's just not going to do it.
So
he'll just let him. He'll just keep suspending him and not paying him.
The fun part is when, and I presume it's Jimmy Butler's age, and every time there's like a rumor, you hear like, Jimmy Butler will not play for Memphis, or Jimmy Butler will not play for Sacramento. Like, these are teams that legitimately might want him. You know, Memphis is the interesting one to me.
Why would he not play with Memphis? You think he would love to play in Memphis?
I just think I don't know. Like, I think at this stage of his career, he's looking to go to the surefire contender. And for whatever reason, Phoenix is still
Memphis is a...
I know, and like Memphis is really good, which it makes no sense.
And they're fun. Like that would be. It seems like a super fun team to play for.
Good city, like good food. Like I don't know.
Whatever the city, if you you're worth $100 million. Every city's your oyster. There's plenty of. How many restaurants can you eat?
For guys who are coming from Miami,
going to Sacramento
that
might be.
Yeah, that might be a consideration.
You can fly. The owner will give you the jet. We know of this.
Not
if you're the
during
star
the
of the
season.
Yes, they do. James Harden got the jet and extra days off to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman, like
Rodman would be in Vegas, and then Jordan would have to go fetch him.
Jimmy Butler not wanting to go to Memphis is a mystery because that team with him would be a contender.
And by the way, it's half a year.
Yeah,
like you can't stay at the nicest
something's
hotel in
got to
Memphis.
give, right? So it ultimately comes down to if Pat Riley legitimately will not trade him to his preferred destination, then Jimmy's going to have to relent and go to one of these teams that maybe isn't the ideal spot for him. But just like you guys have said, like when I heard the Memphis thing, I was like, what is he doing? Like, it's clear he's trying to steer himself to one team that he really wants to go to, and players typically have the power. But I don't know. Like, there's some good situations out there, and if he needs a little, reputation overhaul, going to a team like that will be in the mix could be the right spot.
All right, we will talk about the Celtics, I swear, as we continue. We are so fortunate. We have Chris Forsberg from NBC Sports
And my heated
Boston.
vest still has more juice, so I'll get through the next segment and be toasty warm.
You don't have to keep referring to it.
The juice?
Yeah, dream of juice.
Have you ever made out in dark hallways? Made a tape?
From your record collection? It's your mix.
Congratulations. You made a mix. Chill. We're making fun of 311, Chris, if you don't know what we're doing. All right. Very good. Oh, be real, stop. All right. I can't read that. All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
Yeah, that one.
You're listening to Toucherin. Hardy, the Sports Hub.
Reigning champs. To say that I'm on the best team in the world.
We have so much in common. I keep it on the wrong mic. I'm sorry, Chris.
That's okay.
They have so much in common. They're both very, very middle-aged. They have middle-aged things that they love to do.
I don't know when I get super old.
I know when I'm getting super old tomorrow.
Fred's turning 50 tomorrow.
And what's the big party?
There will be no party.
Will be no party.
No party.
No, in fact, nothing is going well in terms of that so far.
Will there be cake?
There was a cake last night.
What kind of cake?
It was good. It was from Whole Foods. It was a vanilla cake.
Ooh.
It was very sweet. Someone got me a cake last night. It was very
nice.
sweet.
You stopping there?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. It's a very sweet person. All right. So listen, the Celtics. They are completely healthy. Yeah, John, you take it, John. You go, you know way more. You watch every game, so you go.
No, it happened at the Globe. Big article in the Globe last night from Adam Himmelsbach. They're accepting bids for the franchise starting
finally.
a week from tomorrow. So this is finally, we've been waiting. It's kind of been under the cloak of secrecy. You know, is it happening? Is it not happening? We finally have a definitive step. They vetted the possibilities, and the owners are stepping up next week.
Do we think it's going to move? Because nothing has moved quickly with this, and it's all been very secretive. Do we think it's going to all of a sudden hit an accelerator?
But can it? Like, isn't that interesting?
It should.
We'll get at least
it can move fast. The selling of a team can move fast.
If someone comes in with a crazy bid, wouldn't you move quick to what's?
Oh, I just didn't know if that's the the league slows it down.
These things typically go quick.
They do. Okay.
I feel again, I'm just looking back on the way it's played out in other cities. It's usually the announcement happens. You hear the prospective bidders, and then once the offers start,
month or two later,
it's go. Which is why this one has been a little weird, where it's been, hey, we just won a championship 24 hours ago. We're selling the team.
Well, Wick's hanging on with his
100%, and understandably so. I keep telling this to people. I completely get it. And
cat's out of the bag.
Understandable, but look, they should win another one this year.
Yeah, here's my thing, Chris, is about Wick Grosbeck. Is I do feel bad for him. Money can't cure everything. He had his dream last year. His dream, and it's a great dream. And he is a strange guy, but he is to what I've seen.
We're all strange.
Not the other one. Not the other owner.
Pagliuca?
I
love them all, so I'm biased.
I didn't say I don't like Wick.
No. I
just think you know what I'm saying. He's not as engaging as Pagliola.
For sure.
And so, which is odd because he's the one out in front. You wouldn't think he would be one, but he has the parade in his hometown, the team that he loves. He's holding the trophy. Mm-hmm. He's literally in front of there millions of adoring people. The adulation. And then 2 days later, the rug gets ripped out from under him.
It sucks.
So it sucks. But you had that. You already had that. So anyway.
But you always want to be a part of it. I do hope that in some form or fashion he can remain around it. But it's not.
But he can't be the voice of the team anymore.
Right. It'll never be the same.
No, he can sit courtside.
And I know and I think he's expressed that he wants to be sort of that governor position until 2028 or something like that.
That's no way that happens.
Right. And
not a chance.
I don't understand how that could play itself out, but I guess if you make that a stipulation, I don't know. That is the fascination to me, is exactly how that all plays out. But usually, new owner comes in and says, thank you. Here's how things are going to be done.
Yeah, this is mine. It's not yours.
Yeah, why would I let you pretend to be the owner? I'm the owner. And even if I was a quiet guy, I don't want you running around pretending to be the owner.
But no, now we have some interesting storylines. A, how much is it going to go for? But B, are the Celtics going to stay in their current building? If I'm a new owner, I don't want to be a tenant. I want my own place. 100%. I want to capitalize on all the concessions and all the parking and all that.
But be careful with that as a fan, because they move to their own building. That's not good chance that's not in the city.
Sure. Because there's no room.
And we can tell you, Hardy and I, from experience, that sucks. Yeah. And it's bad for the team, and it's no good. When they move out of the city, teams, it takes a lot away from it. It really does.
You didn't love Auburn Hills, or
no one did, and it was a horrible idea, and it was bad for the franchise, and they had to
100%.
move back to the city.
And it's great now.
And now it's great. Yeah,
Little Caesars,
Little
very
Caesars is great. So I've finally been there, but the point, but Detroit's different. I understand they give the land away. But it's much easier to do it there.
There's just no room anywhere.
Yeah, in Boston. But that's the thing is that in Boston there's no room. So if
there's always a way.
There is always a way, sure. But there is a good chance if they want their. Would you agree? I might be wrong, Chris.
No, 100%. I think any owner, even going into it, part of the reason the value might not be as high as they could, like, in a vacuum could get is because they don't own the building, and the new owner is going to have to put money into figuring that out.
Yeah, it's $4 billion for the team, and then an extra what? $500 million to build a new facility somewhere or more?
Oh no, John. $500 million to build a new facility.
Actually, you know what? Ballmer just spent $1 billion in L.A., so it's probably more.
Oh yeah, like over $1 billion to build a new stadium.
$4 billion for the team, another $1 billion for the facility, $1.5 billion for the facility if you want to make it state of the art and beat everybody else in the league.
And then you get in a peeing contest with every mayor of every town, and
look what just happened in Philadelphia. I mean, Jesus, they wanted to move downtown and now can't, and now they're going to move back to where they're going to build the new facility right where the old one
is. John is talking about in Philadelphia there was this big, huge deal about them moving to what part of the town? Chinatown in Philadelphia, and then the people in Chinatown didn't want it. It was this big fight, and then so they just went, okay. And they're moving back to that parking
Yesterday,
lot.
they're moving it actually into a $1.5 billion facility they're going to build right behind the Wells Fargo Center.
I mean, I do
At least that's in the city. It's
sort of.
I love their complex.
You do? I don't. I like where the Garden is. I like where Fenway is better, but like the Garden
downtown is always better. But I do like that maybe because we're so spread out, Foxborough and
Foxborough shouldn't be in Foxborough. Right. But go ahead.
But I do love that if you're going to the Phillies or the Flyers or the Sixers, like everything's right.
And they've
there.
done a good job about making it like an experience.
You can park if there's no other games. You can park in any of the three parking lots.
And now they have these malls of food courts and everything. Like I've been there a bunch of times, but Who should Celtics fans, not a particular person, but like what kind of owner should Celtics fans, in your opinion, be keeping an eye on and want? Ideally.
Deep pockets so you can pay for the roster, but with some sort of connection or with some at least ability. It's never going to be like Wick and Steve, where they were just fully invested in this, in the history and the city, and that's not to say like some billionaire who is in California couldn't understand the legacy, the history, and all that, but it has to be rooted in, like, you have to understand what this team means, what the city, like how they embrace it, and as long as they understand that and can pay for a roster, it'll be fine.
Okay,
but it's weird. That's a hard two boxes to check at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. So does Steve Pagliuca have a chance?
It's fascinating because I asked this to everybody, and I suspect he is looking for a group that can help with the funding. But there's always someone out there that just has more money, right? Like the part of this ownership group was that they just didn't have the resources of a Steve Ballmer or some of these other billionaire owners. And so it all depends on if someone from the outside really wants this thing and swoops in, it's going to be tough. But if it stays reasonable, I hope he can find a way, because that's the perfect storm, right? Where you got someone who's part of the legacy, who understands and gets it and now has the money. But, it can't just be enough to get the thing. It has to be enough to sustain the cost of this roster. And that's going to be, I hope he finds the right people.
Yeah, and he's got to be, I guess, a little bit careful of what he wishes for here, because if the current ownership has some mind to hand the team over to somebody who understands all that and is going to do it, might even take a little bit less. There might be that
they're not taking less.
But there could be that bid that's at least equivalent or even a tiny bit. But you know what? They're going to do it the right way. They're going to do it the right way. It's going to be really expensive to do it that right way.
Yeah. You don't sell the team unless you're trying to get every dollar you can get, right? And that's business. Like, There's a reason the Grosbeck family is where they are,
If
right?
there's a difference of $500 million, yeah, I get it. But if you're like, 50 million apart, if it's 100 million apart, you don't think they would lean toward a group led by Pagliuca and someone who's going to continue on?
I think they would. I think you would love to do it that way, and that's like very pie in the sky kind of thinking. But I do think I don't know what the magic number is. If it's $5, yeah, of course. But like you would think that if
what if they wrote a nice letter? Like you're trying to get.
Are you
that
trying to get an
house.
apartment?
Yeah.
Calligraphy. Just to make it look
And
all
include
pretty.
a picture of the kids.
I wonder how much of that actually happens. Like how much can a personal appeal?
There's a number. I don't know what the number is either. When you're talking about what's the projected?
I would hope.
What's the projected sale price?
$6
billion.
Yeah, something like. I mean, I went high, and then people said it would be lower because they don't own the arena, but. It's going to be ridiculous.
It's going to be way lower. I think that magic number way lower than 10% of the total sale price. It can't be. Well,
the Boston Celtics do not go for sale very often, and so I'm just saying. And if any franchise like that, you can get a basketball team. The Timberwolves go up for sale, and even that's been a process.
Right.
But the Celtics are it's gonna take some money.
Yeah. All right. Well, Chris, it's an exciting time for the Celtics and a bad time for Grosbeck, as he will have to give up, but he will get to stay in charge for the rest of his life. That's part of the sale, is that you let me pretend to be owner for the rest of the life. That's what I'll be doing. All right, Chris. Listen, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Is there you and Hardy were talking about wedges when I first moved, when I first came in.
Well, we were talking about the folly of hitting a full wedge, and I believe it was Ben Hogan who said, anybody who swings as hard as they can with a wedge, I want to play him for money. And Chris gave me a knowing look. He's like smiling. He's like, it's so true,
As someone who reaches way too often for the 60-degree wedge, I'm guilty. I love myself a good flop shot.
You know what? When you and I finally get out there, I'll let you take the 62-degree for a spin.
Ooh,
You want to have some fun?
Whoa!
So, and when it was suggested to me by the PXG guys, I'm like, what the hell is this club for? And they said, it's for fun. And
have you seen the 70?
No. Come on.
It's
Now it's too much. Now he's gone too far.
7-minute abs, not 6-minute.
70-degree wedge. Don't do that.
I'm just saying. I've seen it out there. Are we going to Boston Calling? You guys were giving away tickets last week, right?
I want to see Public Enemy.
Ooh.
Yeah, there are a lot of sneaky good bands that
I'll be
aren't
there,
in
Chris.
capital letters there.
Yeah.
On the
12 will go with you. For the whole thing.
Flavor Flav showed up at the Pacers series.
Oh, yeah.
He was squired about like a celebrity. And then I think
he is. What do you mean? Like he is a celebrity.
Well, he is, but I
Flavor Flav
I
on the
think
hot
there's
tip.
still a disconnect between the modern generation and like if Drake shows up, everyone knows Drake. I don't know if necessarily.
You know what I like about Drake is how he gets to get on the court and hug everyone during the games and make himself a part of everything.
That is nice.
Will he be there tonight?
Oh God, I hope so.
I think he's out of the public eye right now. The Kendrick
really?
thing
That's
is.
too bad.
No, he just recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Resurfaced?
just the other day was at a. No, the Kendrick thing is not good for him.
Not good enough.
No, he failed miserably. Kendrick played that brilliantly, and now he's doing the Super Bowl in a stadium tour that I'm taking my daughter to. But yeah, Drake they showed it the other day on ESPN. It might have been yesterday. He was out dancing around on a. Who'd they just beat? Toronto.
Oh,
Golden State.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess during that game he was there and he was like running around and slapping the coach on the ass and hugging players during the game and laying down at half court.
He goes on their broadcast. Like I'm actually kind of jealous. Like I've always said, we need a Boston celebrity that we can.
Toronto's a big city. Like enough Drake. Like you got enough that came from there. Like you don't. Like Eminem's at every Lions game. He's not like running around on the field during the game and like catching balls.
Fair.
He's not sitting on Campbell's shoulders.
The Canadians are too nice.
Yeah, but enough. I don't like when Spike Lee would jaw with the players, but he wasn't dancing around on the bench and stuff. Like it's enough.
Yeah, let's get the kids in the hall guys out there, storming the court.
They're not from Toronto. The guy with the afro is from Winnipeg. You'd know if you talked to the guy.
Stupid. Kevin.
Yeah. If Geddy Lee wants to go to it, like Geddy Lee can, and he can take batting practice with the Blue Jays if he
I
wants
missed
to.
him. He's not been a fixture at those Blue Jays games anymore.
I have him in hiding since the death of Piet.
Yeah.
But Lyson and I may join forces again, but it will not be called Rush. But it will be progressive and hard, and only for men. All right, Chris Forsberg, thank you so much for the time. We will be back. Hardy is annoyed with me, but I have I don't know why he's annoyed with me because I'm miserable. So that should make him happy. So it's
a tightrope we're walking with.
It really is, and we'll figure it out in just a moment. Here are the headlines. We are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Dave Burkett, who's a great guy and a great guy from the Detroit Free Press. Why are you having him on? Well, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are two huge candidates for head coaching jobs. And Ben Johnson was interviewed by the Patriots. Vrabel's been gone over and gone over and gone over. Let's find out from a guy who knows a little bit about Ben Johnson. You know, everyone wants Ben Johnson so badly. Maybe what did the Patriots miss out on it? Why? You know, let's find out about him.
Also, I'm convinced after reading a bunch of things last night, Aaron Glenn's going to be the next head coach of the Jets. So I think Aaron Glenn's going to be the Jets. You want an insight into the head coach of the team. You're going to be playing twice a year as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn. Yeah. I think Aaron Glenn's going to be if I was ownership, I'd hire Aaron Glenn.
It makes all the sense in the world. They've interviewed 75 people, and they're still not done. But I think Aaron Glenn's going to be the guy.
Well, it's Tannenbaum leading that search. So.
Who's going to tell Rex Ryan?
They already did.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, you guys didn't know that?
I missed.
Yeah, they already told Rex Ryan he wasn't getting the job. Yeah.
He must have been, I'm thinking his day on TV the next day was very bad for him.
He's the only guy that they've eliminated. It's pretty funny.
Did they really?
No, I mean, they didn't put out an official statement, but they went to whatever reporter and were like, Rex isn't really a candidate anymore.
No.
Like, he's not someone that we're interested in.
He was so happy about that, too.
Yeah.
I can't wait to kick Vrabel's ass twice a year.
This wasn't like a rumor. This was like the Jets went to a reporter and were like, you can report that we're not hiring Rex Ryan.
No.
So that's going on. But I am interested in knowing a little bit more. I know a lot about Aaron Glenn. Obviously, he played and everything else. But Ben Johnson, everyone's so confident he's going to be this great head coach. I'd like to know. But Hardy is annoyed at me because I'm a grown man who used to talk a lot about when his birthday was coming up.
Yeah, up until this year. And you've still talked about it a lot. Now you're doing it with the added annoyance of saying, like, oh boy, I don't want to talk about my birthday. Then don't talk about it.
No, I didn't say I don't want to talk about it. Well, I have to talk about it.
You don't want to turn 50. You're going to feel old being 50.
It's the first time in my life that I've felt old. The first birthday that I felt bad about. And so my thing with Hardy is, if you were annoyed by my birthday and talking about it when I was like happy about it, this is your Christmas. I'm actually not happy at all. I'm not having a party. I'm not doing anything.
So there is a huge part of me that takes great satisfaction, even joy, in your misfortune.
Yeah, that's so this is your Super Bowl.
Yeah, but it's not a misfortune to turn 50 unless you die ahead of time. Everyone's going to do it. So it's not so much a misfortune as, okay, I do have to find my happiness in your sorrow. And
yes.
there's a certain amount of that.
Yeah, you're turning 50 is inevitable if you live to 50, but my internal dread and depression around this is my thing, and like I'm experiencing it, so it's true. Thereby, it should make you happy.
Give me a little bit more about your depression.
I'm afraid I'm going to die alone.
Feed me.
Shush! The dying alone is gold.
When
go back to that.
My kids dominate 90% of my time. It's killed my relationships I've had because my kids are by far my biggest priority. That to women in the past has when we start getting going, it has been a problem, and I understand that because they deserve someone who can see them more often.
Yeah, it's not just the dying alone without a mate, though. Is it other people, family, friends close to you finally decide they've had enough of you and they don't want to be around you, too?
Well, when my parents, you want to know the truth? When my parents die and my kids move out, I will not have a community.
Yes.
And that scares me. And that is what I'm thinking about, is that, and then I'm not attractive or a good mate for someone now. No. That's not going to get any better.
You're not good company.
I can fake my way through 2 dates. You're playing this like it's a joke. These are real things for me.
I know.
You can say I'm a pussy, but it's happening.
I'll
You can
repeat what
play
I
it. You
said.
can go ahead and
I'll
play it,
repeat
Adam.
what I said yesterday. No, I wanted to get a little laugh in there because Hardy's getting all the chuckles. But no, I'll say what I said yesterday.
He wants a part of that.
Yeah, I don't want to get in a little bit of that. But no, I'll say what I said yesterday. This is all like authentic and real stuff. And let me just say too,
I've actually never been more truthful on the air than I'm being right now.
Fred has asked me
So-
off the air, what's it like to turn 50? Are you experiencing the same things that I went through?
I will give the audience an insight. My on-air personality is not the way I am off the air. It couldn't be. I mean, I would be intolerable. Like, I wouldn't be able to function in society. I have to entertain for 4 hours. What I am doing right now is how I am in real life. This is might be the most honest I've ever been on the air. I'm holding nothing back. Yes, Hardy, and this is why you should like it instead of being annoyed. Like your whole take
Do I
on
look
me.
kind of happy?
All right, now you're happy, which is good. Yesterday you were annoyed. You're like, oh, you're talking about your birthday. And I'm like, yeah, I'm miserable about it.
Because you think you're going to die alone.
I don't think I'm going to die alone. I'm worried at the prospect of dying alone. Like getting to a point where I'm not like, no one's going to want to be around me. And then I'm not going to have a community around me. And then my kids are going to move away. And my parents are going to die. And then I'm going to be sitting there like, 58, what will I be? Like 57, 56?
Normally,
Wow,
Fred,
that's old.
I would say that worrying is just
It's your age, but imagine being all alone at your age.
Well, Fred, worrying
You got
is
a
like-
wife still ordering you around.
The worrying is paying interest on money you'll never borrow. For the most part, in your case, you're right to worry. All these things are going to happen.
Nah, no.
Nonsense. I will give you some tips on how to build community and make friends and set up a support
Or you could
system for yourself.
be his friend
I
when
honestly-
he's 56 or 57.
I am.
and
I'll
check
always
in
be
on
friends.
him.
Friends.
I
always have and I always will.
But we've known, Adam and I are very good friends. But the thing, like legitimate friends. But the thing is that I've known Adam for almost 20 years. I need to know. How the hell does a man make friends with another man at 50 years old?
Let me tell you.
I know what you. But I can't do what you do.
Why not? You don't get any packages delivered by UPS?
Oh yeah, that's
There's no construction going on outside your house.
But Hardy will like go. In all seriousness, like Hardy, it's admirable. Hardy will go to like this pickleball thing, as silly as it sounds, but he'll just show up and like start interacting with all the people and like trying this new thing. That is well out of my comfort zone.
I can't do that either.
Yeah, that's like, well, I have trouble playing golf with people.
Don't you have a men's league, like a 9-hole men's league Tuesday
I can
nights?
never do it though because you know my schedule with the kids. I can't do it. I'm the only one when I have them.
Well,
and
in a few years, you'll get that opportunity when they move out.
And that's what I want to do is be the guy that hangs out at the country club. And that's his whole life. Maybe I'll start getting involved in the voting and like what's going on.
It doesn't have to be your whole life. You can do a fair amount of the people you meet during doing yard work. Other people out there doing the yard work.
There's no one in my neighborhood doing yard work.
Hey, what you raking with?
Yeah, what you shoveling with?
That's right.
All right, I Adam, you have to indulge me. I have to
yes,
do this. Go, Chrissy, hello.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you. Are you Chrissy?
It's actually, I'm Kirsten.
Oh,
Like,
Kirsten.
Kirsty's
Well,
close
listen, you talked to Nick. So what do you want? Go ahead.
It's fine. I just want to ask you, what if you were a woman at your age in your shoes right now? It's even worse.
I think
It's
women.
way worse.
I think women are better at, and again, don't not trying to paint everyone with a broad brush, but isn't it safe to say that women are better at like having a network of friends?
Yeah,
and
Chrissy, do
people
you have
to
a network
support
of
them?
friends? Yeah. Do you have like a network of friends?
I mean, in theory, but I have 2 kids and a full-time job, and when am I hanging out with them?
Right.
And who are you looking at? You're not looking at chicks our age. You're like going way younger.
I'm not
So,
going
like,
way
am I-
younger. That's not fair. But yeah, like right, like I most
dating
likely.
a 70-year-old, right? But I'm not. Luckily, I have a nice boyfriend. He's lovely. But
How
I'm,
old are
like,
you?
old.
How old are you?
I am 55.
Okay, so you're 55. How old's your boyfriend?
He just turned 50, just like you.
Oh, so he's
2
younger.
kids.
Does he have a good
Yeah.
job?
He has a fine job.
Oh, so he's a fine job. Okay.
But he works his ass off, too.
Do you find
So
do you
it's
find
a
do you
whole
fi- do you
situation.
feel a little silly using the word boyfriend at the age of 55?
I don't
Don't,
say it.
Chrissy.
I hate
don't,
it. I
don't,
hate
Chrissy.
it so much.
Don't. You're in a relationship. Don't let Hardy.
Don't take the bait.
He's
Don't
locked
fall
down.
into his trap.
No.
Chrissy,
She knows what I'm talking about.
If you say partner, you should be like square dancing.
No,
It's
no,
really
no. You say
awful.
boyfriend.
I don't like it.
Chrissy, say boyfriend.
You're long in the tooth to be using the word boyfriend.
Chrissy, 55. I would if a hot 55-year-old, I would go out. I would go out within 10 seconds.
Don't be confined by
All right,
Hardy
give us
Smalls.
a chance, Fred. Give us a
I
chance.
do.
Just
Believe
say
me.
it.
I would go out with a 55-year-old woman, and you have 2 kids. We'd never see each other. It would be perfect. We'd have sex.
It's
We'd have
actually
sex
perfect.
every
I
other
don't hate
week.
it.
I just said
I
there's
don't
no-
hate it.
There's
Yeah,
nothing-
right.
It's fine.
All right, Chrissy, slide into my
Right.
DMs. Maybe I'll throw you a
All
bang
right.
in. Don't tell your boyfriend though. All right.
It'll be a secret from my partner.
All right, your
Thank
partner,
you.
right?
It's
All right.
there's nothing wrong
Thank
with
you,
her being
Chrissy.
in a relationship. It's the word boyfriend,
Oh, let her say
girlfriend.
boyfriend.
I have a 50. You think the guys walking around saying I have a 55-year-old girlfriend?
Probably.
No,
It's my girlfriend.
I'm seeing a woman.
right.
Barry Siegel's got a girlfriend. He's been with her forever. What's he supposed to call her?
Wife, if he's been with her long enough. What's the
So
hold
I'm sorry, Barry. How dare you?
So
He's got a business to run.
crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll be back in
wrong
just
with
a
you?
moment.
Up headlines.
A really good win for the Bruins last night at TD Garden is playing at less than 100%. They raced away to a 4-0 lead and beat Tampa Bay 6-2. Jeremy Swayman had a season-high 43 saves in net and saw Parker Wotherspoon at his first career NHL goal.
It just shows, the depth that we do have and guys getting rewarded for the work that they're putting in, being in the right spot at the right time. And again, just understanding, anyone can make a difference in a game and, whoever's out there on the ice is going to get a job done.
The Bruins now have back-to-back wins after a 6-game losing streak. They don't play again until Saturday afternoon against Ottawa. Yesterday, the team placed both Charlie McAvoy and Mark Kastelik on injured reserve. The Celtics will be in Canada tonight to play Toronto. Randy and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Boston Globe is also reporting that the team will begin receiving bids from prospective buyers for the franchise a week from tomorrow. Patriots began their search for assistant coaches under new head man Mike Vrabel yesterday. One would-be candidate for offensive coordinator is now off the table. Cleveland assistant Tommy Rees was promoted to offensive coordinator by the Browns yesterday. And former Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy will meet with the Chicago Bears today and with the New Orleans Saints next week. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the warm, hearty meals at the 99, like the freshly baked home-style chicken pot pie packed with chicken and topped with a buttery, flaky crust. You gotta love the nines. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
There's the potential there for big stuff.
Hey, listen, if you've got to go, we understand, but make sure you bring the Sports Hub app with you so you can hear more of Toucher and Hardy.
That's what I want on my tombstone.
On the Sports Hub.
Darnold will drop down to a knee, and that's it. The Detroit Lions have won the NFC North. They are the top seed in the NFC playoffs for the first time in Lions history. A dominating win for the Lions to close the regular season. Detroit 31, Minnesota 9.
For the Detroit Free Press, we love having him on. He's talked about Patricia. There's some links there's links with the Lions and the Patriots that are interesting that Dave's been through. First of all, thank you so much for joining us, Dave. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, my pleasure. Morning, guys.
Okay, so here's what is been annoying me of late. First of all, both me and my partner Hardy are going to be in Detroit. We're both natives of Detroit. We will be there for the game on Saturday. So we'll see what happens then.
What, Dave?
Bring some earplugs. Hey, it's going to be loud.
Oh, I was there last year. I was there for the Rams game last year. All right. So all the pomp and circumstance. Ooh, Eminem's there, So here's the deal. What annoys me is when people call into radio shows or hosts in markets other than Detroit start pontificating on how great Ben Johnson is as a head coach candidate, and this team needs Ben Johnson because they don't know, right? Like they just know that the Lions perform well on offense. Now you cover this team. Ben Johnson, interviewed for the Patriots job. They obviously were looking at Mike Vrabel. I guess Brady convinced Ben Johnson to interview with Vegas and so on and so forth. What are your opinions on Ben Johnson as like a leader? Like he's a great offensive coordinator. What is he like behind the scenes?
Yeah, no, that's a good question because, he is one of the brightest offensive minds in the game. And I think the natural inclination, especially when you have a young quarterback like Drake May, is to say, hey, man, this Ben Johnson, he's going to be wonderful for him. And I think he would be. As far as a leader and the leadership qualities, I don't think he lacks there at all. I mean, he maybe is not quite as dynamic as a Dan Campbell, but Ben would be the first to tell you that working under Dan the last few years has certainly helped him and given him a different, perspective on things. And that's not to say he didn't have leadership traits before, but, I think when you naturally steal from the people that you're around and you're around a lot. And, Ben is a guy that he has some charisma in front of the camera. He can be easy to talk to. He can be self-deprecating if he needs to be, he can have some fun. So, inside the locker room, the offense speaks very highly of him because of the way that he communicates the game plan. So I think he checks a lot of boxes as a leader. But guys, I tell you this, just from watching, the way the Lions have built this, like every organization needs the fit that's right for them as a leader, if that makes sense, and Dan was the guy, like when he talked in that press conference way back when, like that spoke to a lot of people here, and I'm sure Vrabel, for what the Patriots are and want to be and the people there, like that might be the right fit for them. So I wouldn't, just because Ben comes with this great offensive resume doesn't mean that he was the right choice, even if he is a good leader for the Patriots.
Yeah, and just, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were going to talk. But by the way, I think Aaron Glenn's that guy for the Jets is what I think, because of his history there and stuff. I think he's the right fit there. But do you think Ben Johnson's, like, why has he not taken a job in the past?
Yeah, the first year, I don't think he was ready. I think he went through the process and he realized he probably wasn't ready, both himself, maybe the staff, maybe the opportunity wasn't right in Carolina. Last year did sort of confuse me a little bit. I thought he was ready and I thought he was really close. And, after I in talking to him and others, I just did come to believe that he really thought the Lions had a chance to win a Super Bowl this year. He didn't think the opportunities were going anywhere, and he wanted to sort of see this thing out. And, look, he changed agents this offseason, and some of that was probably due to the way things, went down with the Commanders. But, if you change agents, you do that a lot of times because you want a job. So I think this is the year that, he gave this thing another run in Detroit, and they've got a really, really good team, and they've got a shot to go to New Orleans. But I do think if Ben has an opportunity to get a head coaching job this offseason, that he'll take it.
If you had to guess right now, would that job be in New Orleans?
Well, it sounds like that's the best fit, and I'm sorry, you're talking for Ben?
Yes.
It sounds like Vegas with Brady is the one that may be the hottest after him. The Bears, to me, I think would be a great fit, but
would he do that?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't know if it's the right, mix of ownership, GM, sort of everything that's going on there. So.
This might sound naive, though. I'm interrupting you, but this might sound naive. But would he do that to the Lions? Like, would he go in division? Like that? Like, he seems to really like Detroit and really like being with that franchise. That's kind of like an FU. I know it's a business. There's only 32 jobs, but taking the Chicago job is kind of an FU to the Lions.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I guess I haven't really talked to anyone about, whether, if those ties run deep enough that would really cut, that would make him think about not doing that. I mean, he took the interview there, and I don't think he would take the interview if he wouldn't, take the job just after everything he's been through the last couple of years. So I would think he would, and ultimately it probably is less about, the Lions and going in division and doing anything to upset anyone here, but just being like, you got a quarterback that you think is really good, and it's probably a market that fits him too. I don't see Ben necessarily as being a guy for a New York type market, but I think he fits in the Midwest, if that makes sense. He's a couple years old, and he's been through this a whole bunch of times, and you guys have probably seen it too, but, I remember in Detroit about 10 years ago, Terrell Austin, right? The Lions had a really good defense, 2014. Everybody thought he was going to be the next great head coach. And, then they fizzled, and all of a sudden Terrell Austin, no one wanted him anymore. So I think it's a little different when you're a defensive guy too. But the thing about Aaron is, Alex Anzalone said this last week, was like his leadership traits are on par with Dan Campbell's. Everyone in the locker room, the way that he is upfront with them, the way that he can be honest with them, the emotion that he coaches with, in terms of getting on players and in lifting them up. I think everyone, respects that. So he definitely has those, leader of men type qualities that you want in the locker room. And I do think, like you mentioned, the Jets, the Saints is, he spent a bunch of time in New Orleans with Dan. I think those are two organizations that I don't know necessarily that he'll have his pick of those jobs, but I do believe those two organizations would both be really good fits for him, and I think he could walk away with one of those jobs.
Well, Dave, as the Lions stand here on the starting line of their dynasty, which will continue for several more years here. I mean, we're going to just roll on. We're going to go from conference championship to Super Bowl next year. Are there guys on staff for Johnson and Glenn right now that would be perceived successors for them, or do you think they'd have to go outside for one or both jobs?
First I laugh at that, but my friend Dan Weeder from the Chicago Tribune, he called me this summer and he was like, hey, have you ever thought about you may never have a coaching search again? And I was like, wow, like that's crazy to think about after all we've been through here in Detroit, covering this team. So I guess when you have a good thing, you never know how that goes. But there are, to answer your question. I think specifically defensively, Kelvin Shepherd is a guy that, the Lions have been grooming for a while as sort of a defensive coordinator in waiting. And I don't know if he would go with Aaron Glenn, if he would stay here. Certainly he was working under Aaron, so, they have a really good relationship. Dan brought him here. I think, I'm not sure. They had some ties before, but, he's a guy that certainly is in line. Deshae Townsend on the back end, he interviewed for the San Francisco 49ers defensive coordinator job this offseason. So I think there are a couple candidates in-house for that job. Offensively, I got a story coming out tomorrow on Tanner Engstrand, who I believe he interviewed virtually with the Patriots last year for their offensive coordinator job. And, he's pass game coordinator now, and he had some play calling history very briefly in the XFL and in college. So another younger guy that, has a big role in sort of what they do now. I do think the Lions, these jobs are good enough that Dan Campbell owes it to, him and everyone involved to conduct a national search if the timing is right. The problem might be that if you go to the Super Bowl, like you have to have those, everyone's going to have jobs. So maybe you have to go in-house to find some replacements. So those are a couple candidates that I keep an eye on.
Any word or whispers as to what Ben Johnson's interview was like with the Patriots? Because we found out that after the round of interviews they did last year, some people came away unimpressed with the way the Patriots handled business in terms of their interviewing process. Did you hear anything about that after Ben Johnson interviewed?
No, I didn't. The only thing I heard was that Aaron obviously didn't end up taking that job because people thought it was going to be, Vrabel's. But, with Ben, I'm guessing it was a case of like, hey, if both sides really loved each other, maybe that was the only thing that could stop the Vrabel thing from happening. And I don't doubt that Ben would interview well. And, I think, I don't know enough about, what the Patriots were looking for to have any insight on that, interview process out here. But, no, to answer your question, I hadn't really heard anything about, from Ben's camp as to how that interview went.
Well, they were looking for Mike Vrabel, apparently. So.
Yeah. kind of hurts the interview process as a whole.
Yeah, kind of puts
when you interview after the guy who's going to get the job.
Puts Ben in a tough spot when he goes in there the day later. Yeah. All right. Well, like Fred said, he and I are both going to be there this weekend. So, I mean, you've been talking about this probably going back to the end of the last postseason. The feeling is it's got to be at least NFC championship or bust, and probably some people won't even be satisfied with that, I guess, in Detroit.
No, you're right about that. And, look, I think the way they started and the expectations coming into this year after, making that run and leading, at halftime the way they did in the NFC Championship game, everyone had the Super Bowl circled on their calendars. And, if we're being honest, like when those injuries started piling up, I think some people sort of got off that, like, it's been a really good season and maybe these injuries are going to stop us from reaching our goal. And maybe that's Lions luck. But the way they played against the Vikings down the stretch after that Bills loss, what they did in San Francisco, even though the 49ers aren't the same type of team they were last year, the expectations are ratcheted back up again. Everyone thinks this team is going to the Super Bowl. And, I guess count me in that just because, like, you don't lose. I mean, this home field advantage right now is the best in football. And so they should not lose a home playoff game. the way the atmosphere is going to be. I don't think it's going to be easy playing the Eagles or the Rams if they get that far. I don't think the Super Bowl will be easy. You know, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, those are type of quarterbacks the Lions have not seen this year with that defense. So, but yeah, man, this is, if the Lions are being honest, this is Super Bowl or bust probably too, because this team, especially from a coaching staff standpoint, is probably going to look a lot different next year.
Oh, boy, Hardy is
No,
now
I'm
a
staying
happy
loose.
guy.
Staying loose. I'm trying to stay loose.
Oh, man.
Trying to stay loose.
Danny Cam's not going anywhere, baby, so they'll be fine. They'll be
That's
fine.
true. That's true.
All right. Dave Burkett, read his book, Detroit Lions, an Illustrated Timeline. Read him in the Detroit Free Press. He's the man. Thank you, Dave. We appreciate it very much.
You got it, guys. Maybe we'll see you this weekend.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we'll definitely meet up. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it.
See ya.
All right, there you go. There you go, Dave Burkett.
Hardy just got that faraway look in his eye there. Just for a second. It was a brief glimpse, but then the Lions fandom took over. And he's like, no,
for a brief
no.
glimpse, just like you said, up at halftime of the Super Bowl, it's like everyone thought or up at halftime of the
NFC
49ers game,
yeah.
Everyone was thinking Super Bowl, and I just let him say it, but he knows, I know. Yeah, everybody except Lions fans. Like, no real Lions fan was thinking
Right.
Super Bowl up, halftime of the NFC Championship. You knew that that's what could happen, but you also kind of knew what almost certainly was going to happen.
Yeah, so
And
there
it
you go. I'll go ahead. You guys, I keep interrupting.
No, it's fine. It's good. Shush, it's good. Shush. Stay loose. Stay loose.
So there you go. I like that. I like Dave a lot, and I like that we learned about Ben Johnson.
He sounds like he's maybe like a better interview and a better, maybe a more impressive leader of men than what we were giving him credit for.
Absolutely, that is absolutely well, or what we didn't know. And then, but it's also interesting. I think I understand. The Midwest suits him, like a Northeastern team in that fan base.
Right.
Is Ben Johnson would not thrive in that.
Yeah.
Like where a guy like Aaron Glenn could thrive in that. So I get what he's talking about there, which maybe he's saying that he wouldn't be a fit for the Patriots, that sometimes you got to be the right fit for the region and the team. And
Sounds to me like Chicago's in play, though. Sounds to me like Chicago's very much in play.
Do I sound completely naive to think that if you were like it would be like taking the Jets job if you were the Patriots?
Remember when Mangini left here to take over with the Jets?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way,
big deal.
Mangini's one of the better coaches they've had in the last 20 years. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's great to know. He's got might have the best record of any coach in the last 20 years or 25 years. You take a look at that.
I will.
It probably goes Parcells, Mangini. That I bet you. Or Grohl, who left to go take the Virginia Tech job or Virginia job.
Yep.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
stuff last night with their rookie skits down in Tennessee, and the guy goes up to Vrabel, like, yeah, hey man, I played 28 years, so I know what I'm talking about, right? That's the thing that keeps getting talked about is Mike will tell you in meeting, this, I did that, we did it this way. He'll be swearing at you, effing this, effing that. Hey, what's the ref's name we're playing this week? This is all Parcells stuff. Like, I don't remember Belichick doing this stuff. He would quiz you, but Mike's got the Parcells personality.
Zolak and Bertrand. Weekday mornings at 10 on the Sports Hub.
Is elongating.
Weekday mornings.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
The Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
All right, we are Toucher and Hardy. You can find our email addresses at 985thesportshub.com. Follow us on social media. Nick's pumping out content like you wouldn't believe. He's 3-4 videos a day. We're racking up points.
Ryan's cutting them up too now, and they're going to teach me how to do it.
Wow. Then we'll really flood it. Let's not go crazy.
Okay.
Let's not go crazy.
Just
I know everyone wants points.
Just
but
a
let's
great
not go crazy.
together atmosphere in the back room there.
Yeah, it's a well-oiled machine now, and so you can follow us at Toucher and Hardy on Instagram, and you can follow Hardy at Hardy985, and John, as I literally crawl to 25,000, as I'm well below it. I am at Fred Toucher, where it is nothing but love. The comments under the at Toucher and Hardy.
On the whole, back when you were on Twitter, which you're not anymore, how did the Instagram...
He's still on Twitter.
Oh, he's a lurker. He's a lurker on
called
Twitter.
burners. But
yeah, burner, lurker.
Yeah, I get on there to insult people.
Right. How are the comments, comparatively speaking?
Instagram's a much more polite place because there's much more required to get an Instagram account. Twitter's just so maniacs can yell at each other. That's all Twitter is. Twitter is either so writers from newspapers can show you their stories, and then lunatics can yell at each other. That's what Twitter is. I pay no mind to Twitter at all, except that it can get you in trouble. The only thing that Twitter exists for me for is to get me in trouble, and then for maniacs with accounts with weird names to yell and tell me how terrible I am, but yet they know everything I've ever done on my show. Again, as long as you're talking about it, I got no problem. All right, so there's a lot of emails about me turning 50 tomorrow.
Oh, my, so many. Want me to start?
I'll start. Mario says, sounds like a pity party. Now, here's the thing. I'm just telling you how I feel. And if you are without emotion, that is the definition of a psychopath. So I would ask you, Mario, name your 10 favorite songs. 9 of them deal with emotion. It's someone expressing emotion. I'm not asking for your sympathy. I'm telling you how I feel. There's a difference. Don't put me in a place where I can't share how I feel and honestly how I feel. Didn't ask for anything from anyone. Not asking for anything. I'm telling you how I feel. And maybe someone out there hears me and they say, you know what, Freddie T? You go. I feel that way too. And that's the way it is. Someone says, Ben says, do you remember after your cat died, a guy called in telling you should have released it into the wild to die? My favorite call in the show's history because I think he was serious. You should replay it. That is absolutely true. When the fluff was put down, I got an angry call from a guy that I put on the air that said, well, how dare you put your cat down? You should have released it into the wild so it could have died in the wild.
Yeah.
That's right.
It could have suffered more.
That's what a domesticated cat wants to do, is to go outside and die, in the elements.
Cat's been indoor for 15, 20 years.
The fluff, I used to let the fluff when it was old outside because what was it going to do? It just sat there. Right. If the fluff wanted to go outside, the fluff could go outside. I didn't have a lot of rules for the fluff. The fluff was allowed to explore.
You were the only one that could calm that cat down.
Yep. You heard it I put the fluff in the car and it went, meow, meow, meow. And I go, kitty, pussy, kitty. And then it would go, meow. And it would stop. Stephanie would put me on speakerphone if she had the cat in the car.
You did this on the air once.
I did it on the air, and I got the cat to stop meowing.
Mademoiselle.
Yes. Mademoiselle Fluff.
Senorita Puff.
Senorita Puff. Oh, yeah. Mademoiselle, was it Mademoiselle Puff?
I forget.
All right. Well, I had a lot of names for the fluff. She was treated very well.
John McDonough said, in terms of you not being able to make or have friends after the age of 50, he said, start doing jiu-jitsu. Lots of friends and no injuries.
And all the coolest dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you might run into Joe Mazzulla.
And it's so strange that Missoula would do that because he doesn't seem the guy that's like taking hold to the Rogan sphere. That he doesn't seem at all like that. The people he quotes and the ideas that he has, and not that they're not great ideas or anything, but they are certainly very common in my algorithm.
He's beyond Rogan. Okay.
Yeah,
he's surpassed Rogan in his in his plane and train of thought.
But if you asked me what his hobbies were, I would say chess and jiu-jitsu, and I believe I would be right if you told me the two things that he enjoys. Because he's like Wu-Tang with that chess stuff, and then he's Rogan with that jiu-jitsu.
It's like golf, it's a metaphor for life.
I just think it's a good walk spoiled.
Mark Twain. There you go, buddy.
Well, Mark Twain wrote that, not me.
Bruins Luchador, I'm officially inviting Fred to become a Bruins Avenger.
No.
You have lifelong friends of all age groups that continually get together and support each other. All he has to do
Sounds like another place.
All he has to do is give up his self-respect and totally ignore the cringe, and he'll be fine.
I appreciate Bruins Luchador, even though he has not always been loyal to me. I appreciate Bruins. No, he crossed enemy lines.
Fred has receipts. He does.
But the Bruins Luchador, I do respect them, but no, I cannot go in costume to games. I appreciate the offer.
We had them all in the studio one day. We were giving away those Game 7 tickets.
Yeah, and it was fun for one day.
Yeah,
and then it never has to happen again.
Mitch in New Bedford has other suggestions for you making friends. How can you not find some buddies? Try swinging a cat. You work with a bunch of middle-aged dudes who are all into sports. You can ask Joe Murray to go find a new roast beef shop. Maybe go shoot some hoop with Matt McCarthy's old man's basketball rec team. Take Dan Lifshatz to the local pub and pick some fights. Fred can't see for the forest for the lonely old man trees.
So you're saying just go to the other shows and ask guys to hang out?
Just buddy up with people that you already know at work.
But I don't know them. I don't see them. When am I going to see Joe? And when am I going to see anyone outside of Zolak and Bertrand?
You saw McCarthy the other morning.
Yeah, he was in here for a couple of days, right?
So what I should have said to McCarthy, like, hey, like,
let's hang out.
I didn't know
some hoops. I can play basketball. Can you play basketball?
That's how it
works.
That's how it works, then that's what I'll do.
Can you play
That's
basketball? I can play basketball.
So I walk up to people like I have a head injury.
No, the theme,
hobbies.
The theme here.
Would you by chance have trading cards?
Yeah. What hobbies do you enjoy, sir? I couldn't help you noticing you sitting alone at this bar. Perhaps I could inquire about your interest and see if we have anything in common.
Have you a need for a signed Maurice Cheeks jersey?
I think you go
It's
to
already been sold.
Andrew Dice Clay style, like on Instagram. It's like, are you the one looking for the hobby with the friend?
The face.
With the face
With
in
the
the picture?
face. You know me, the voice.
I can't get enough of it.
I could go up to people and go, the voice. The voice. You hear it? You've heard this before. The voice.
Hey, Big Shot with the salad. Where'd you get it? With the croutons, Big Shot.
Oh, look at me, healthy guy with the salad. You know the voice? You hear it? You want a picture? Maybe I could try that. It's like cold calling friends. That's what I'll be doing.
Ben wants my thoughts on the TGL League. Wallach and I both gave our thoughts on the indoor golf that we watched last night as Team Jupiter got killed by Team LA. It's not bad.
Yes, it is.
I don't hate it.
Yes,
it's not bad.
It's everything everyone
bad.
needs indoor golf.
Bad.
It's better than that.
No, it's
better than that.
Pat, go ahead, Pat, if you could.
Fred, I turned 40 this year, and I have a wife and 2 young kids. And I'm not going to lie, I'm on that journey with you. I feel for years. Have you ever seen the movie Her?
Yeah, where he falls in love with Siri. Yeah.
Basically, I thought that was the future for all of us, and it depressed me. But maybe because I've been doing a lot of research on like ways to not die. But have you heard of the singularity?
No.
So this guy from Google who predicted AI decades ago has predicted that basically in the early 2030s, nanobots will be able to enter our body and carry out repairs so we can remain alive indefinitely.
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
In the 2040,
go ahead.
They will be able to upload our minds so they can be restored in the cloud. So there will be some level of immortality. And now that all sounds crazy, and I don't like to tell people it out loud, but I'm calling you to tell you about it.
First of all, it doesn't sound outside of. I mean, if you would have told people that what exists right now in terms of AI was possible, they would have said that's from science fiction and it wouldn't happen. I don't doubt any of that. And I don't want to live forever. I don't think anyone should. And also, computers are now taking over any kind of spiritual sense we have, Pat. It's very depressing. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
But the impending death is the cloud that looms, and it's the thing that says we will all die alone. That is the fact.
Okay.
And
I'm comfortable with that. This isn't so much about death as it is. It really isn't. It's about like my quality of life getting worse. That's what it is. Is that like in evolving and changing into something very lonely. That's what my fear is.
You know what bothered me about it more than anything with each like decade milestone, 40, 50, like 50, Fred, tomorrow. As of tomorrow, you will be closer to 70 than you are to 30.
Yeah,
and I'm sure in most
that's
ways,
what bugs me.
Yeah, you still feel like, in terms of like mind and attitude, more like a 30-year-old than your perception of a 70-year-old.
Okay, so you're absolutely right, and I can give you a story from yesterday. So yesterday I'm out with my dog, and this lovely woman I see when I'm out with my dog sometimes, and we talk, and she talks, and she said she's from this particular place, because I don't want to insult the woman. So because she's lovely. She says she's from this particular place. I said, oh, my parents lived in that particular place from like 72 to like 70 to 76. And she goes, oh, well, I was born in 72. I thought she was old enough to be my mother, but she's my age. Like, I think that I'm going to tell you something. A girl, as a compliment to me, said, I was thinking about you, so I looked up old man porn. That literally happened.
Whoa.
And she was saying that she was.
I think just be honest with him.
She was saying that she was thinking of me sexually.
On the insult scale, that's pretty high. That's.
But she was saying it as a compliment.
I know
Do you understand that?
I know that she was ignorant.
Because she wanted someone with like a gray beard.
Yeah. No, that's not good. That's not good. No.
That's really not good.
That's not good at all.
I know she was trying to compliment you, and she didn't.
Her heart was right.
But in all honesty, what else would she search? I mean, there's nothing else to search.
George Clooney, duh.
Yeah, but she wanted to see pornography. She was using it as a tool to pleasure herself.
I see.
Hachi-machi.
Wow. Man.
All right, I will end it with this. Mike, go ahead, Mike.
Hey, guys. I just turned 44 the other day, and you're all on the list of shame for not wishing me a happy birthday, by the way. But I was wondering, Fred, I'm in the same predicament. I'm older. All my friends have kids, and I'm just kind of by myself. I figure we could start like a walking club after the show. I could show up at the studio. We could all just kind of get a coffee and just kind of, shoot the breeze and just be old men together.
There's a beautiful trail right behind here. Whatever trail they built around
That's
here.
right. It's really nice. They just paved it. That's
it goes all the way into the city or something. There's like a bike trail and a walking trail. It's really something.
We'll have Dan Roach show up. He'd have to get rid of the guys on the North Shore, but Dan Roach is part of a walking
maybe
club.
there's a merger of walking clubs.
Yeah. Are you allowed to do that? I don't know.
I really
Check the bylaws.
I really like being divorced. Like, I really am enjoying it. But then there is that thing in the back of your mind. I'm not. I'm sure that she's. I know she's very. We get along way better divorced than we did married.
Why would you add that? Why would you add that?
Because it's true. I want her to be happy.
Okay.
I absolutely.
Great.
It's good for everyone if she's happy. Believe me. And anyone who's divorced will tell you that. The last thing you want is your ex-wife not to be happy. She's the mother of my children. Of course I want her to be happy. And I'm sure she's having the time of her life. I don't talk to her about it, but I'm sure she is. She's a great catch. So there you go. All right. We'll be back. It's award-winning. It's the Keep Shane. We'll take a call and we'll do the stack in just a moment.
Okay.
Sports Hub headlines.
Bruins.
We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show?
Ready?
It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Hey, it's the Stack on Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by D'Angelo Grilled Sandwiches, freshly grilled, freakishly good. The D'Angelo Classic Steak and Cheese, savory steak and melty American cheese piled high on golden brown bread. Devour one today. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. I got to take this call. It's selfish of me, but I'm very interested in what it is. Shane, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Fred, Hardy, John. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
I just had to mention, Fred, this station in Phoenix. You asked me about it before, Frank, the Frank show.
The Frank show in Tucson. Right. But he was also on in Phoenix before that, yeah.
Yeah, he's in Phoenix now. It is unbearable to listen to. Can't possibly listen to it. But the one thing they have going for them, they haven't heard Paul Stanley in the clothes hamper this year, is they do play Kiss throughout the day, and there are still bees roaming around in Tucson.
Okay. Frank's in Phoenix now?
Yes, it's based in Phoenix. He's not in Tucson.
Because I did a week of shows with him when he was on in Tucson. So
it's KLPX is the call letter.
No, I believe you. I believe
you.
He was like very comfortable in Tucson. Frankie, I liked Frank a lot.
Happy birthday, Fred. I just celebrated number 57 yesterday. So good luck.
All right. Thank you, Shane. I appreciate it.
Take care, guys. Have a great day.
Yeah. When I was looking around when Cumulus bought Susquehanna where I worked, and I knew the Dickey brothers were complete pieces of garbage that ultimately got removed from their own company. I mean, John Dickey is one of the dumbest human beings I've ever had the displeasure of sitting next to. I said, perhaps I should pivot. And I started looking around, like, with who I wanted to work with. And, like, people were suggesting a lot of guys. And I went down to Tucson to work with this guy, Frank, who I enjoyed immensely. But he was the lead. And then after the first show, he's like, you got to be a lead. We shouldn't be. So I just hung out for the week and did it with him. Bet on the ponies, the only racetrack I've ever been to. Tucson, Arizona.
In Tucson?
Really?
Wow. There'd be some skinny horses.
I mean, brutal heat. They die. It's whoever survives.
They die in every track, but even more so in Tucson.
Have you been to the track? You bet on the horses at all?
I have, yeah.
Where?
In Michigan.
Yeah, my dad had a harness racing horse.
I've been once. I've been Gulfstream down in Florida.
I told you my dad, the creative director at his agency won the Little Brown Jug, so he had these harness racing horses, and my dad bought into one called Razzle Dazzle, and it ran once.
Oh.
And that was it.
Oh.
Good investment, Pops.
Well done. Well, Fred, on the eve of your birthday, which luckily for my sake has turned mostly into talks of death and dying alone.
I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of being alone.
Well, maybe you're afraid of not being allowed to die the right way, as you were accused of not letting happen to your cat, Fluff. We have the original phone call.
Oh, that's awesome. Good job. All right, let's hear it.
Bob, go ahead.
You know, this is what aggravates me about pet owners.
Oh, this is Bob in Easton.
Oh, is that right?
This is Bob and Easton from Felger and Mass.
Oh,
I don't know who he is.
First of all, forget the cat Cleo. Fred, I don't mind a veterinarian if your cat or your dog is sick and you know it's going to live, a prosperous life after that. But you know what the natural, selection of what a cat or dog does when they know they're going to die? This cat that you're talking about that ran out of the house, they run away to die. Why do pet owners find the fact that they know what's best for the pet? How do you, how can you bring a pet to somebody to kill them? Let them run away and die. That's the humane.
What if they can't run? What if they can't move?
They find a way to leave the house and die. I've had many heated debates about this.
Okay, you can debate me all you want. The cat couldn't move. The cat
would have found a way to get out of the house.
Its legs didn't work.
Then the cat would have died in your home, right there.
Yeah, no kidding. In pain.
Then what's wrong with that?
Because I wanted to make the process as painless as possible.
What that painless, bringing it to a generic or sterile place. I'm telling you, I had somebody who their cat jumped up on their lap and died on their lap. That's the most peaceful way to go. Okay, a sterile place for $3,500.
The cat couldn't walk.
It was going to die with you. Why bring it to a place?
It did die with me.
No, it died at a place. Die in your home.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, what is wrong with you? I stand with Bob.
Boy, that's pretty dumb.
I've forgotten about that phone call. That guy clearly had to put a pet down when he was a kid, and it scarred him for life.
I just like the idea that she could have just ran out and died.
Even after
outside.
you told him, legs really wouldn't work. He still triple down. There's some trauma there for sure.
I love that argument. She could have gone outside. Well, her legs didn't work.
She would have found a way.
She would have found a way, but her legs didn't work.
Nature finds a way.
They would have worked, and she could have hopped up. She hopped up in the owner's lap. Okay, the cat couldn't walk. It went into rigor mortis in the car, if it makes him feel any better. It jammed up and got all paralyzed when it was on my lap when we got to the vet.
Adieu, Mademoiselle Fluff.
Her ashes lay in my old home.
Rigor mortis, so the cat did die on the way to the vet?
Okay, so real quick, it went into rigor mortis. I assumed it was dead on my lap. We brought it into the vet, in the parking lot of the vet, legitimately. I brought it into the vet. They said she still has a heartbeat, but she's basically dead.
Why didn't you go out in the parking lot, wait 15 minutes, and save $150? I mean, you were right there.
You know what?
I wish you were with me.
That is the best idea we've heard all morning, right there.
I wish you were with me. I should have just, since she was so stiff, just taken her and just smashed her head against the side of the car and really gotten it over with.
Bam.
Let the cat run outside. The legs don't work. It would have found a way. Oh, would it? Yeah, sure. You're quadriplegic, but you'll know when it's time to start walking around.
They're out there, Fred. They're walking around just like us.
Yeah, see some guy in a wheelchair, breathing into
They're
a thing
out there.
to talk, and then you could talk if you wanted to.
It could be in the car right next to you in traffic.
He's talking with his eyes on one of them screens. Hey, you talk to me.
Yep.
You can do it. You can do it. Talk to me.
Stop blowing into that stupid straw and use your words.
Your left hand's fine. You're moving your right on that joystick. Come on. What an idiot. What a dumb idiot.
It's nature. Finds a way.
That's a great phone call. What a stupid. Good job finding it. All right. That'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
More Toucher and